is.
And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 154. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. So you guys know at this point we have come basically full circle with DC, and later on in this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be doing a comic book review on the DC All-In Special #1. So basically, DC has, at this point for me, been hiring writers to do Michael Bay stuff. And literally, I think all of these guys who write and do art watched every single Michael Bay Transformers movie from the first one all the way to fucking The Last Night. And they're like, you know what? Let's just cram a whole storyline in fucking 5 issues like that. And it's like, holy crap. So, also, change of plans. We were originally going to do Ultimate Black Panther, but I feel like since a lot of you guys were asking me my opinions on Absolute Batman, I was like, you know what? We'll just do Absolute Batman #1 comic book review this Friday, and then we'll be able to do that one topic for Absolute Batman versus Absolute Spider-Man that I want to do on that show as well. Because today I was so busy with freaking trying to help out someone with something that they need me for, but my job is hard to get this certain thing from. But I did end up getting a lot of content done, and I just have to basically spend the time, just editing the content and putting it out for you guys. Also tomorrow, Thursday, Captain America Brave New World comes out. I'll basically be going to that after I get my taxes done. So I have my tax appointment at 1:00 at H&R Block. And then after that, I'll be going to the movie theater to watch Captain America Brave New World, and I'll be doing my spoiler-free movie review in my vlog, as I normally do with episodes of Full Day of Going to the Movie Theater. And on Saturday, we are going to be doing a Captain America Brave New World open spoiler discussion. Labs Comic Fan will be there. Obviously, I'll be there myself. And we have Sci-Fax that'll be there for that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. Nothing else has been happening. My bank account did end up bouncing back. The funds were returned as I look today. I still can't really get anything this week as I want to because, work's been a little slow. So I've been taking it a little bit easy. Don't worry, guys. I got enough books that I've bought for a while. You guys see that bag back there? Yeah, there's like 30 packages over there. There's packages on my desk. I have another desk you guys don't see that I haven't opened yet. Then in my living room, there's more packages I still haven't opened. So yeah, I'll probably just get a trade here and there. If I really think it's interesting enough. I did do a comic book haul last night, and my camera kept freaking trying to mess up. So I made the most out of it. It's fine. It basically cut out the parts of me opening the actual box, but I showed you guys in that video when you see it, everything you need to see, obviously. So you guys are going to get an episode of Comic Book Haul. I need to get a new freaking phone when I get my taxes because this phone, it's not that it's bad. It's just the camera just keeps messing up so bad sometimes. And I just don't know when the video is going to cut. So maybe I'll just download a new camera app or freaking just get a new phone when I get my taxes. It's okay. So that's my my soapbox. Philadelphia Eagles did win the Super Bowl. Very happy about that. Everyone's still celebrating. Philadelphia, calm down. So it's fine. Whatever. Just keep celebrating. Jalen Hurts says he hadn't slept since they won. Man, that's crazy. Go to bed. Go to sleep.
Well, I was going to let you go on and show up at the movie theater tomorrow, but today's Tuesday. It is not Wednesday. So if you want to go there tomorrow and make a video, that would be awesome. I will watch that.
Oh, you're right.
Standing for 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will watch that video.
Okay. Sorry. I correct that's why we need white guys here. I correct myself. Wait, did I not say Thursday? Oh my God.
You just said tomorrow. You were like, tomorrow I'm going to see.
Oh my God.
Captain
Okay.
America. So
okay. I
would have loved it. I would have it's not an L. It's just,
that's an L.
Please make that video.
That is an L. I will say that. A complete fat L. But yes, on Thursday, I'll clarify again. Thursday, I'm going to be watching Captain America Brave New World, tax appointment before, and spoiler-free review in the vlog. And then on Saturday, we'll do our open spoiler discussion. Because you know what, guys? I'm a human, but I don't make any mistakes because I'm a perfect being like Darkseid. You know, all of you will
look at
kneel
you.
before Darkseid. I have
You were gonna say Zod. I heard it.
I wanted it. I was conflicted.
Imagine
But
if they had Zod in this though. Like he just shows up
too
for a
much.
second.
Too much. Just he now Zod showing up. Now they have to fight him. Just please no more.
I mean, they already put enough in this book to, fry your brain. So
I'll be honest with everyone. DC's fried my brain so hard with absolute power in this that, you know what? I need my brain further fried. I need it basically black.
I don't think you've recovered since Ultimate Invasion. I think
Not
that's
really
what fried your brain the first time. You haven't recovered since then.
Jonathan Hickman basically did what my wife does. Like, basically, she'll give me like a nice, good sex position that I've been asking for a while, but then it's not good. And then I get one that's unexpected, and she'll be like, we could just 6'9". That's fine too. That's great. But then she's like, can you just like eat my ass while you eat my vagina? Like, so, okay. Your brain's just all messed up. You don't know what's going on anymore.
The places you go from 1 to like 3 are nowhere in the realm of anything that I think about. So, good for you.
Oh God,
with your 69ing your
yeah.
wife.
Yeah,
that's gotta be a hefty thing to live up to, though.
You guys know this is pure entertainment when I'm thinking it's Thursday when tomorrow was Wednesday. I would have not even went to work tomorrow if I knew it was Thursday, because Thursday I have off. Tomorrow I go in at like 9 o'clock. Truck will be there at like 9:30. So probably get off like around 1 o'clock, come home, just chill, relax, unwind my brain for what DC has given me these last 2 books, only to then go into Absolute Batman, where people said this man is out here killing people with an axe. I'm like, all right. Okay, more Michael Bay-ness. We must actually just go with. Good Lord, why did Michael Bay invade DC? What movies did you guys watch from him? Holy shit!
Well, Absolute Batman. It's not so much like the Michael Bay-ish. It's more. It's just dark. It's a very dark story.
Okay, so he's Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder 300 era. Zack Snyder.
You mean like the best Zack Snyder movies, not a.
It's good. I loved Absolute Batman #1. I loved it.
Oh, so you love Man of Steel, the absolute best Superman movie ever made. That basically was the quintessential piece of superhero cinema that blessed our hearts back in 2013. Guys, I'm lying. That movie sucks ass.
I mean, but I like Absolute Batman. There's a difference, you see. I can like one without thinking the other is great.
Oh, if you guys don't know, we did on Rumble do a watch party for the Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs, and we did have Anna's Game Land there. I may or may not have said some things to her that were extremely Riz Master-ish, but those things could not have been said on YouTube because I would have been banned. I'm a professional.
I can't even imagine, and I don't want to.
Chaz was there too. Chaz was at fault too, so I'm blaming Chaz. Actually, holy shit!
The guys named Chaz get all the blame,
right? And he's black, so
that's even worse.
And he's a Giants fan. That's what makes it even worse. You're a Giant. He's a Giants fan and a Knicks fan. It's like, the man lives in Connecticut. He's in the state of Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut's a state, right? Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a state.
Yeah, state. But he said he's from New York. I'm like, no, you're not from New York. You're from Connecticut. You were a Connecticut guy. You're from Stanford.
But I mean, what's he supposed to like? Like, the closest team to him is probably the Knicks.
Yeah, he said he's actually an hour away from New York. It's literally just a train ride there. I'm like, that's cool. Man, a train ride here would get you to like freaking, oh my God, like San Diego. It's like, I could take a train and visit Tiny But Fierce, but then she wouldn't sleep with me. So it's like, why visit women unless they're going to sleep with you? You know?
Conversation.
Oh, that's just gay. What the hell, man?
I mean,
you lost me.
Well, I mean, I don't really go visit women for sex. I just go upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, now he's just flexing on me. Okay. All right. That's a mic drop. Oh, God. WC's going to clip that.
Well, listen. Whenever you'll get there, when it's not imaginary, you'll be able to walk through that door behind you.
What do you mean? She's right there.
Right. So you'll be able to walk right behind that door. And there will be a real live woman there. And you'll just be like dropping it like it's hot, as they say, as the kids do.
I'm doing that, she's pegging you. So that's probably not happening. I ain't dropping anything. I'm not trying to get a big black dildo thrusted inside of me.
What?
Huh. That would be probably P. Diddy behind the door.
Listen there. You have done it again. You never cease to amaze me.
Oh God, man. Oh Lord. So how was your week, man?
It's been good so far, except for social media. I've decided to
take a
pretty
break.
much boycott social media for a while. But other than that, I'll have a video out tomorrow, and probably by the end of the week, have a video review out. I'm gonna do a live show too, which will be fun.
Really? You're gonna do your first live?
No, I do live shows. I don't. Okay. Oh, yeah, I used to do them every Saturday, and I just stopped. Like, I took a break from everything for a while. I'm just starting to get back into it, and yeah. But I was doing live shows every Saturday. I was doing, like, when Rings of Power was on and House of the Dragon first started.
Absolute
I did
cinema for Rings of Power,
those,
greatest TV show of all time.
God, that was
it's better than Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Sanford and Son, Smallville. You know, Life Unexpected.
Sanford and Son.
Just saying, Sanford and Son. If you guys are on freaking Instagram or Facebook, you have Facebook Reels. Listening to Sanford and Son clips is so fucking hilarious. Keep in mind, though, Red Fox, great entertainer. Just saying, Esther and Fred's relationship dynamic was so hilarious. Holy crap, jeez, man!
I'm coming.
Yeah. The part where she's like, black is beautiful, and he's like, they took one look at you and said, hold everything. Oh my God. It's just so clever, man. They don't make fucking TV like they used to. Oh, I want to ask you this since you watched the Super Bowl, because this has been a topic that people have been bringing up, the halftime show. So as you know, halftime shows you think was bad?
I can't judge. It's not my style of music, so I can't.
Oh my God, he's doing the thing. Oh no.
What? I don't listen to rap, so how would I know if it's good or bad?
Oh no, like, did you like the production at least?
No, I don't care about that. Dude, my music is 4 dudes on a stage playing death metal. That is what they do.
They don't need music.
They don't need anything to show how good they are, except the talent that they have at their instrument. I don't get, like, the big production style thing for one person in giant pants and clothes that look like a retard picked out for him to sing songs about another guy that he dislikes.
That's not gay at all.
Well, it was there. I mean, if I understood what was happening, then it must have been the most blatant thing on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. The rap to me is like, I like the Wu-Tang Clan. I like Wu-Tang. I like
Kill me now.
Yeah, I like Wu-Tang.
Kill me now, please.
What's wrong with Wu-Tang? Wu-Tang's good.
You are sitting in a room with screamo music, letting guys scream at you. You don't want to feel like you want to punch them in the face?
No, because music doesn't dictate my emotions. I'm not a perpetual child. I play guitar, and, like, put it this way. I can guarantee you that a songwriter who screams, as you say, can write words that rhyme. Might not be good, but he could be proficient at it. I would love to see one of them play a guitar. Good. Or drums.
Because that's the thing, is, like, for the halftime show, I think the production of it was fine. I'm not really into that song. I'm not really into Kendrick Lamar all that much. I did like the Uncle Sam, like Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam. That was I thought that was like kind of cool. Where he was,
I didn't have.
That was okay.
I didn't have a problem with it. Like, I just don't. I don't like try. If it's not my thing, like, I'm not gonna just go, oh, this sucks, because well, obviously a lot of people like that music. Obviously a ton do. They're not just gonna get someone to do the halftime show if they're not selling records or stuff like that. But it's just not my thing. So, like, you know, they're not gonna ask fucking Slayer to get up there and do the halftime show. So, I mean, I fully understand it. Like, I get it, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, I mean, it's just what it is.
For For me, I think it comes down to like people will generally forget about halftime shows. Like there's very few halftime shows that stand out, like the Michael Jackson performance versus Prince's a long time ago. There's very few that really stick out because like most of the time after the halftime show's over, you forget about it because
is this one that stuck out?
Is it? I mean, not because
no,
of the
I'm
music,
asking
though.
you. I'm
No,
asking
no.
you. Is it one
I
that
don't think it
stuck
did.
out?
I think it only stuck out because of the Drake Kendrick Lamar beef.
Yeah,
that
which
there
is so dumb. They just need
Yeah.
to blow each other and get it over with.
Whoa, that is very homosexual, sir. I don't
Okay,
do
they're a
that.
bunch of homos, so who cares?
And they're black, so crimes is just kind of
blow
in
each
their
other.
nature.
Dude, Drake's voice sounds like his balls are in a vice anyway. So
There
they
was
might
always
as well, they
there's
might
the
as
Janet
well
Jackson
just
one.
the Janet Jackson one stuck out. That was
Yeah,
definitely
it really
it
did
was
stick out.
definitely, it was
There's
cold in that stadium that day. It was definitely cold. I just like rap beef to me is just hilarious. It's like you, especially when you're at the level that those two are. It's like, dude, you wake up every day on piles of money. Are you really this angry because someone ruined your rep? Oh, my rep is what I got, and that's all I is to have. Like, shut the fuck up. Go make more money and go fucking be an asshole somewhere else. Just put out albums. Like, fuck, dude. I don't want to hear about your angst and rage, how society's against you, yet you're a fucking multi-millionaire. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, black people, God, what they're
It's
trying
not
to
just
have,
black
like,
people, it's Eminem too. It's the whole rap thing. Like, I understand the music and I get that, right? Some of it is definitely pleasing to your ears. It's the tone of the music and what it brings. It's like you listen to the words and you're like, that's what you're promoting. Like, okay, cool. Because everybody thinks like, oh, metal, you're talking about devils and stuff. Like fucking Iron Maiden talks about World War I and World War II. Like,
oh, sorry, I was gonna
like,
bring up the fact that I don't know, rap music kind of pushes a lot of crazy degeneracy that gets perpetuated for like black people, in my opinion. It's one of those things where, yeah, some of the music does sound good. I have a lot of rap songs sometimes on my phone too. It just, I don't know, like, should the halftime show be used as some sort of like diss track or as a time to diss someone when it's like an actual event people look forward to? It's like, is that the time to air out beef with someone?
well, I mean,
not the time
that's
and place, in my opinion.
What else was they get? It's the largest stage that you could
Yeah, you're
perform
right.
on
Yeah.
in the United States. In the United States, nothing is watched more than the Super Bowl. The only thing that would made it worse is if they did it at like the UEFA Champions League final, where there's like 1 billion people in the world watching it. Like, so of course this is what was going to happen. Like, of course it was. Like I said, if I know about something in like the rap world, that means it's definitely flooded over into just regular life, because I don't pay attention to that stuff. But I knew that Kendrick Lamar had problems with Drake. Like, I don't know what it's about, but I know that it's a thing. So like, as soon as I heard him start doing it, I was just like, okay, why don't you guys just get in the fucking UFC octagon? Be men. No, I'm
I
gonna
don't know why they
sing
don't
at
box
you.
this out.
I'm gonna sing at you. My problems. And they're gonna be to a 4/4 timed beat. And it's gonna be crazy. Like, shut up.
Who hurt your feelings, Laps? Who touched you?
Nobody.
Oh,
Why would they have you of all people talking about who touched me?
God, hey, did you see a black guy and your rage just came out? Because don't worry, I had the same problem too.
No, I don't look at it.
I see a black guy and I go,
I don't look at it as a race thing. I look at it as a music thing. It could be purported by freaking orange people. I don't care. Like, it just doesn't bother me. Like, I don't look at it and go, you know what? The blacks, they need to stop rapping about stuff.
I would say though, I think they're just degenerate. Honestly,
I just think rap itself is that, and it could be any terrible message in any form of music. Like, trust me, there's metal bands that I hear and they're technically very good, but I read the lyrics and I'm just like, this is stupid. Like, why? Like, this is what your life is. And I'm not saying everybody needs to go out there and sing happy messages and hold hands and skip and get along gang bullshit. Like, no, just fucking write good shit that has meaning, that, you know, is there to please people. And if this is what pleases them, then fine. That's why I said, firstly, I have no opinion on it, because
Gosh,
I
I
don't
hate you.
care. No, you wish you were me. That's the thing.
No, that's how you start rap beefs. Now I'm gonna drive up in a Chrysler and start rapping about you. Start
You don't
hitting
want
the
to come here,
bars.
man.
God, Lord.
That wouldn't be a good idea. That dude. Let's just say California's pretty friendly, but West Virginia, Pennsylvania,
Oh
not
God,
so friendly.
you
Not
gotta.
so friendly.
I'm about to die going in there. Holy shit.
I'm allowed to shoot my gun in my front yard.
Yeah,
Towards the
you guys
street.
have crazy freaking gun laws where you live. Holy crap.
No, you'd be welcome. It'd be fun. We'd have a good time.
Oh no, our freaking state, as you know, can't open
Mm.
carry nothing here with guns. It's basically the guns are the problem. Yeah, not the stupid motherfucker who used the gun. No, the actual gun's the issue. It's like, hold everything, guys. No, guns
Well, I
kill
mean,
people, not the people that pull the trigger.
Chris Rock said it the best, man. There doesn't need to be gun control. There needs to be bullet control. Make this bullet $500. He said, I would murder you right now, but I don't get paid till next week.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I mean, that's just my feelings on that type of thing. It's fine. Like, I could appreciate it, but for me, it's just not my thing.
Okay, so I was missing Professor Savage Dad. We're gonna set that show up later on. As you guys know, comic books, it's a crazy week. We're having some good times here. And as you guys know, you gotta subscribe to the channel. You gotta you gotta be here for the quality, you know? And Laps will give you one of his toys he has right in front of him. Action figures, as they call them.
Okay. I will not. Hey, but if you want me to, I'll send you a camera. I got like 50 of them.
Good Lord, man. I need freaking my wife to come home and ride my face after she gets off work. Oh, sounds pretty good. Huh. Maybe Wonder Woman can do that. Not absolute Wonder Woman, because she has
what imaginary job does she have?
Okay, I saw this online. There better be a good reason why Kelly Thompson had Wonder Woman cut her arm off. That'd be a horrible hand job for a girl to give you. That's just stupid. Why would you willingly want to?
Here's the thing, though. What if when she cut the arm off, the bone came off from the socket in her shoulder, and she could give you one of those squishy nubbins?
That's even worse. How about? Okay, is she a freaking skeleton at that point?
No, just say cut the arm off, like right here, right? And it's just a big flat bag of skin, and it just wraps around you, and just she pumps like she's doing like pumping for oil.
Oh God, man, kill me now. This man's gonna kill me.
Well, this man's boss is mine. You are the one that brought this topic into conversation. If you don't want to go where it goes, you know.
I'm going.
I mean, I've heard you talk about imaginary women sitting on your face and shitting. So
wait a minute. Not shitting. I would dodge it, and if they were about to shit, I would punch them in the face, and I would call the cops for sure. I'm not kidding. A girl does that, you're getting the cops called. That's That's assault. That's assault with a deadly weapon right there.
I could just see you trying to wipe the imaginary shit off. You're like, fuck, get out of here, woman.
Okay. Oh God, man, this book. Time to dive into all the craziness of this book.
Yeah.
It's such a weird book, everyone, because goddamn. On one hand, I love half of it. The other half, I'm just like, all right.
I like the story in the other half. I think the story, but then it just leads to just like you said, it's just like, all right. And the art in the second half is like there's panels that look really good, and then there's panels that look like I drew it, and that's not good.
So I'll have this review right here on my other screen because I know how to explain the alpha part very well. That's super easy. But it's the because I know the dark side part might actually confuse a lot of people because I was like, I had to read about it because I just was generally so fucking confused. Like, what in the hell? They just pull this out of their ass? So literally, DC randomly, if you're reading a book, just pull something out of their ass. Hey, this is one villain you probably maybe have heard about. He's just randomly here now. Now he's the bad guy. All right, I guess.
Well, they definitely pulled stuff that if you've been reading DC for a long time, like I have, you understand what's happening. But they've
Yes.
set this stuff up like very long time ago with Darkseid being the only constant in the universe. Like he's one of, I think, two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like anything cannot exist without Darkseid in it, and there's only one. So if he dies,
He
pieces
essentially
of
is the
him.
main villain of the entire DC universe at this point. Has to be.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Like he exists, his form exists in Earth 1 as where our people are, right?
But wasn't he killed? That version was killed, right?
But that's the point of what they were saying. That's his conversation with the Spectre. Even if he dies, pieces of him get pulled everywhere because he himself is the constant. Like it doesn't matter where his physical being is. There's malevolence, that thing that pushes back against the heroes. That is Darkseid. Malevolence in its creation is Darkseid. Now, Darkseid, the character, is just a physical being that the people go up against. That's why they said in sometimes he's a lot greater than he is, and sometimes he's a lot lesser than he is. They were just trying to cover their own ass for like times when Darkseid wrecks you, like in Final Crisis, or that they freaking wreck him in like 3 issues. So that's kind of what they were doing. And for Darkseid itself, like to get to Apocalypse, you would have to use a boom tube. Like you can't just go and fly there. Like it used to be that way. I don't know if it's like that anymore, but for the longest time, like you had to have some sort of technology other than just flying there to get to Apocalypse. He existed out of space and time.
I just sneezed through my nose. That shit hurt really bad. It went into my heart.
I don't know if that's how that works.
God, I feel like I just like sneezed and part of my balls just dropped. Holy crap.
They should have already dropped, man. Like long time ago.
Wait a minute. Balls are supposed to drop? That's freaking insane. How dare you?
That's where your manhood comes from.
Am I supposed to use that?
Yes.
Oh. That's how you make like kids, right? Oh, shit.
Kids just kind of happen.
You're going to have to kind of walk me through that. How do you make kids? You have to have sex with girls? That's freaking gay, honestly.
Well, you have to take a bottle of Jack Daniels or other drugs. Whatever drugs you like.
Hypothetically chloroform, right? Everyone?
I've never had to do that, but you could. You could do that. I don't know how well that's going to work out for you in the long run.
Okay, give me one moment. Almost done. Almost setting up here, and we are good to go. So yeah, make sure you never use chloroform because you might be going to jail very soon. I don't touch women, talk to them, or interact with them because women are gross and disgusting, actually.
Except for all that sex you have with them, right?
Yeah, I have that because I have to have. Well, I'm interested in women. I'm not interested in dudes. I choose vagina and clitorises and women.
He said vagina.
Damn, YouTube makes me censor myself. I have to say weird stuff so I'm not demonetized. YouTube, I'm professional. Don't worry.
Yes.
Common lapse W. Lies. I have the W's here. That's how it works. All right. So let me make sure I get the names right. That way I don't make a whole bunch of freaking. Okay. Joshua Williamson, Scott Snyder, the writers. Daniel St. Pierre, as you said, Dan Mora, book over.
Dan Mora did the insert pages, and then Wes Craig did the second book.
All right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Wait a minute, hold on. I am just alive right now. Do you feel the dark energy coming inside of you right now?
No.
Okay, me neither. I was fucking around. There was no intro there. My whole brain just collapsed right then and there at that very moment, but no one saw it. Okay. We're going to be serious now. We're going to be quality people. We're going to be professionals. We're going to be freaking
Thank you.
High Wi-Fi can't see. I need an energy drink so I don't die, honestly.
That's what she brought me.
Good. Oh, God. This is like, what, 8 o'clock for you? After this, you're going to bed for work tomorrow?
No, I don't. I'm off.
Oh yeah, you're
So
fraud.
I will go to bed probably because I'm old. But
Why are you old? Oh my god.
I was just, dude, do you think I really had a choice in when my parents decided to make me? If
Oh
I did,
gosh.
it definitely wouldn't have been at that time.
Oh gosh. We're about to have some various fun here, guys.
Word. Let's do it.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on the DC All-In Special #1. So for those of you guys who have been living under a rock, DC Comics has been trying to actually make their very own Marvel Comics Ultimate Universe for quite some time. They've tried to attempt it with, series like Future State, Earth One, but it really came into fruition with a lot of rumors starting all the way back in the early part of 2024. It was rumored that they wanted to have 3 headlining writers on a alternate versions of their popular characters, such as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Later on, it was revealed at a Comic-Con in 2024 that the new DC Comics' alternate universe is going to be in your butthole when it's in my butthole. And my dildo is going to be full of semen.
Like from the ocean?
Oh, crap. I've lost my brain. My brain is fried. Michael, help me, please. It's working. I am free comic book day for everyone. It's over, guys. It's over. It's ending because, it's backwards. It's ending because Diamond Distribution is bankrupt, and they're the ones that funded Free Comic Book Day. If you guys think that the major publishers are going to fund a free anything, you out of your fucking minds. You're actually out of your mind. People are like, oh, they'll just do things for free. No business is ever doing things for free. You broke, retarded moron. Get a job. Stop being broke. God damn. But nevertheless, I'm not raging out at anybody. I'm just a freaking genius. All right. Court is now in session. I'm the lawyer. Wait a minute. That means I'll be the judge if I said court is in session. But whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm technically Judge Mathis. I'm technically Judge Judy. Basically, Judge Judy and Judge Mathis did a fusion dance, like in Dragon Ball Z.
A little bit of Judge Joe Brown in there.
Oh.
He's good. I like him.
I hate you. All right. So
why? What did I do? What?
I wanted to show my black.
I was just really naming judges.
If I was really like that, holy crap!
I Judge Mills Lane. Is that who you are?
Oh, all right. Let's get a fresh giga banger. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on the DC All-In Special #1. So for those of you guys who don't know how we even got to this point, don't worry, I will fill you in. So essentially, DC Comics has always tried to get a alternate universe of comic books going as ongoing series, very similar to Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics, did it first, obviously, with Ultimate Spider-Man, and later on that universe ended up getting canceled, only for it to get brought back in 2024. But DC never actually had a ultimate or alternate universe ever for their comic book series. You can kind of maybe count the DC Black Label books as that, but those are kind of like essentially not what they wanted as far as that. That is a completely different thing. Yeah, I'll say Future State, Earth One's probably the closest thing to that, but Earth One, yeah, Injustice could be there too. But when it came to like Earth One, it didn't really do as well as they wanted. So a lot of people thought, you know what, it'll probably just never happen for DC. They'll probably never do a Marvel Comics Ultimate Universe of themselves. But come to find out, early in 2024, we started hearing rumors that DC Comics did actually want to start gearing up to do their own like Marvel Comics' Ultimate Universe. So later on in 2024, it was revealed that the writers would be Scott Snyder, Jason Aaron, and Kelly Thompson. And you also have Joshua Williamson heading the project as well. It would go from basically Dawn of DC to DC All In. So with DC All In, they made a bunch of the titles have the All In, stamp on there, as they called it, like a jumping on point. Now, I will say this. If you are a person that wants to basically, get into comic books as far as like DC side of it and read them, even though they did a great idea with the jumping on points when it came to actually launching this initiative, that's not a bad idea. But I would still always say, make sure and go and read the issue ones through where you're actually going to start off at a jumping in point. Because even though they'll say things like, this book's a jumping on point, well, there's going to be things in that book that are referenced that no one even knows what the hell they're even referencing. Now, if you don't care about that, you could have used the DC comic books that were the jumping in on points anyway. But as I always say, that's always going to be a case-by-case basis when it comes to each person. So this book was also billed as one of the most important DC comic books basically in the last 5-6 years, because if you guys don't know this, there was a point in Dawn of DC where DC had no books in the top 10 bestsellers at all. There was a point where Dawn of DC, give or take, there was a few good titles here and there, was not selling very well. So that when they meant they were all in, they are all in. Now, the thing with creating a Marvel Comics' Ultimate Universe is most people are probably going to say, well, why can't you just do that in your main universe? Well, reasons for that are you already have so many ongoing series as it is, and then you're already bogged down with a lot of pre-existing lore and history, which isn't bad. A lot of those characters are very, very special, and they have their own place in history with all that lore, with a lot of great writers and artists throughout time. But it can be pretty daunting on a new writer and another new artist to kind of make something good out of what's already been good and existed. And probably that's been done 1,000 times before. So if you look at it from this point of view, if you do an absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, new fresh start, new lore gets to be established with the first people on the books, actually. That way, whatever they wanted to establish with those characters in that version, they get a chance to do so. And I do agree, you should be able to do this in your own main universe, but there is a benefit to it being separate, right? And they made it very clear that these are separate universes. So if you're a guy that wants to stick with DC Comics, that's been invested into paying for them for all these characters in that universe, you have that. And if you're someone that's new, you don't know where to start, you have this universe, which has the starting titles of Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman. So I hope this works for DC. I really do, because they really put in a lot of effort with the creators that they've hired on to get this initiative going. But, we've talked about this before. This is a cheap marketing gimmick to get them a bunch of sales. Because you guys have to factor in, if you had it the way they wanted to, which did happen, you had this as a number one. So this will sell because it's a number one. That'll automatically get you sales. All Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all going to have new number ones, will all sell out, and they have been. But
they're still in there. They're still in the top 50.
Very well.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Now, the key thing is that the writing ever falls off, because we're going to be going through all of these very, very soon. If the writing ever falls off, and if it falls off consistently for a very, very long time, well, that's a problem. The other books will start falling off in terms of action, comic book stores ordering them, But as you guys know, I love DC. I really do. I tend to like them more than Marvel, but I love Marvel. I do love Marvel by myself, but DC's where home is at, and I just would not like DC to fail with this new initiative, Right. And the last thing I'll say about that before I let you go is, if you ever want to catch up on some of these new DC titles, just get the trade paperbacks. What a trade paperback is, essentially, consider it like a manga volume. You get all the current 5 or 6 issues of a arc. You can read them all at once without grabbing the specific new issues. Because remember how they were headlining this as like, well, any book can be a jump on point. That's just a lie. You can't do that. Not every single book can be a jumping on point. There can't be. There's no way that's possible.
I mean, but that's how they have to market it. You know what I mean? They have to say that.
Yeah.
Instead, what they're trying to do is the thing is like the hardcores are always going to be there. Like like the DC, but they already know that I'm not me personally, but the guys like me are buying these books. Like I'm dumb.
You
I'm
don't
gonna,
say.
give me my money.
Those are all Marvel omnibuses back behind you.
No, they're not. There's a few. There's like some on that shelf, but all this is DC, 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 DC. But anyway, so but they know they have to get people there casually. It's just the same thing as a movie. It's the same thing as a TV show. It's the same thing like when you watch a football game and they explain to you for the 9 millionth time what this penalty is or why this person is doing this, because they are always operating as if someone is seeing this for the first time. And that can be good and that can be bad. It can be good because people can see it and be like, okay, I'm interested. It could be bad.
The difference between football and this is football is a game where if you just kind of studied it on a basic level for about a couple of days, you could understand how it's played. With comic books, there is so much there with one character specifically that depending on where you jump on at, you could be basically out of the loop with whatever was currently going on that leads into where you're reading at now versus maybe like if you started from like the very beginning, which a lot of people aren't able to unless they're grabbing those Silver Age and Bronze Age omnibuses that DC was doing a while ago. But you know, a lot of people have said, well, just go get the older stuff. Guys, the older stuff, like so people don't know, just like you have over there, there's DC omnibuses they made that were essentially the very first age of comic books. So that would be the Silver Age, Gold Age first. The reason why you don't get those omnibuses anymore, guys, is they don't sell. When people keep saying things like, "We'll just go and buy those older back issues," they don't sell. That's the reason why they stopped printing them in omnibus format. Now,
it's usually the first and the last. No. The first and the last one are usually in print, but like if you have anything that's like 1 to 13. 1 and 13 you'll be able to buy for relatively normal, but anything in between there, good luck. Good fucking luck.
Why do you guys think they're printing it in the DC's Finest collection, which are essentially just big giant compendiums, which are just cheaper? Because that's a much easier, more affordable way to get people to get on, you know, people reading DC Comics. And remember, I also think the All-In Initiative was good for that too, because the compact comics are also the same similar way, jumping on points with a completed story, similar with Finest. You just jump on at a certain point, and it's just a point where it's a lot of people's favorite moments. Different from Marvel. Marvel did it from Volume 1s, which I don't particularly hate the idea that DC's doing, but, you know, I do think a starting point's always very good for people that want to begin at the very beginning of something.
It's the same thing they did with the Lobo Compendium. This is the freaking 1,200-page book. The reason why they made this is because the other one didn't sell. And it's, you know, it was out for so long. This is mostly Bisley stuff. Bisley hasn't done anything since like 1996. So it's like
fragging special. God damn.
So I mean, like it's one of those type of things, and it's very true. The way I look at it, and I made a video on my channel like how to get back into comics, like how to do it, because I was doing it at that time because I had taken a break from them for a while. But the main thing is if you're already interested in comics, you kind of know characters from media, like whether it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. You find something and you just pick it up, right?
Yeah.
You have to use the internet. Like the internet's a great tool to find out things like that. But if you're gonna do All In, right, you definitely have to somehow read the All In special, because as much as they want to say you could just pick up Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, you can, but these universes are going to cross. They are going to cross.
At some point they will.
It tells you in this that they have to. There's no other way. So if you're going to be like, well, how did this happen? You know, when you get to that point, or why is it, what is this? Who's Darkseid? What is this? I don't know what the hell they're talking about. That doesn't give you a very broad scope of understanding when it finally does get to that point, because as we've seen in comics lately, whenever I was younger, they could do a whole arc for like 2 years. It doesn't last that long anymore because like you said, sales. And just like how we were talking, if writing falls off, this is just my opinion, but I think it was number 3 or 4 of Absolute Superman. I read it and I went, this is cool, but this is not like the first 2. And this could be a problem because they went very story, like nothing, just explanation after explanation. Well, that's
Good old
good for
Jason
people
Aaron.
like right. Well, that's good for like people like me
Yeah.
who already know all that other shit and
Oh,
are
yeah, yeah.
comparing it to what happened to Krypton before.
Mhm.
The layman person doesn't give a shit about the science community on Krypton. They
Yeah,
don't
the only
care.
benefit of that is that it's the beginning of that, so you can
Right.
kind of
You can kind of get away with it.
without
Right.
any backstory on like Superman from the main universe. The thing that I thought was disingenuous, and I know they weren't doing it bad. I know Scott Snyder, Josh Wilson aren't bad guys. And I know that's basically what DC executives are telling him, hey, sell this as much as you can. The reason why every book can't be a jumping on point, guys, is because it's just in the numbering. So average people that like read manga more now, they start from volume 1. If I tell you, hey, just pretend this is because they advertised that Joshua Williamson Superman run currently with that was on issue number 19 when this was released. So they tell you in this grab like Superman issue number 19 with Joshua Williamson writing it, right? Okay, so
You can't.
do you okay, I'll just explain because I know a lot of you guys watch TV out there for a long time. Jump into a TV show, season 1, and watch episode 19.
Now
you would know what the fuck was going on, honestly.
So there are times where that happens, right? But I end up going, I have to see what came before.
Yeah, that's the thing. So to be fair, the jumping on point could be a good thing because it'll intrigue like, oh damn, this is pretty fun, cool. I want to go back and see what happened before. So we're gonna go through this. Now, I will be very much the same mindset I had when we reviewed the Absolute Power hardcover. So, okay, so as you guys know, we did Ultimate Invasion, trade paperback. We did the Ultimate Universe number one shot, very similar to what we did with DC. Absolute Power hardcover into this. These are pretty much like this for me. On some days when I was thinking about it, Marvel's is better. Then some of I was thinking about DC's is better. I don't know. I'll probably just have them at even. DC went with full, straight up Michael Bay. This shit is just stuff is happening so fast. You're like, this is great. Holy shit. Now there's Booster Gold. Where the fuck was he at in Absolute Power? Oh shit, Darkseid's here. Holy fuck. What was he doing? Just smoking a doobie when Amanda Waller took over the Earth? We're just going crazy at this point. Now, do I like it? I absolutely love it. It's very, very fun. It's very entertaining. But in terms of like storytelling, it can be kind of not jarring. It's just really, or not even rushed. It's just kind of not very paced very well. Like it's paced very good when the action comes through. The action is great, honestly. But as far as like the writing goes, it can be very wonky and very lopsided towards one character getting all the growth, and the other characters are just kind of on the sideline. Like you said earlier, when we get into it, I love the first part of the book. It's actually really, really good. The first part of the book is great, fantastic, honestly. But it does still fall into the same thing I said about Absolute Power, the hardcover we reviewed last week, which is one-sided character development. Booster Gold gets all the character development, all of it throughout the book. He's like the heart of the first part of the story. Whereas other characters you probably know more and like more. I like Booster Gold. I think it's a cool character. But why is everyone else always on a back burner? Well, but that's the problem with the initiative with the Justice League we talked about last week. Remember, if we have all these characters in a Justice League, right, where everyone gets to be a Justice League member, well, then what makes being a member of the Justice League special? Then you know what I mean?
Well, I think so. I think the reason why, and you might think differently. Like I've said a million times, DC revolves around the Trinity. It always will. It always has. Showing someone like Booster Gold, who is not as well known, but people do know him for the wrong reasons, to show him in a redeemed fashion and to show him finally he's at a point, right, where he's taking things seriously. And what happens to him could only happen to him because he knows the future. He knows what is supposed to happen, what is supposed to be in place. He might not know A, B, C, D, E, F, but he knows A and F. And to have him be the person that you experience this through, knowing that he has his little robot with him, Skeets, that could tell him like, hey, this is not what's no other character could do that. No other character.
I'm a prophet.
No other character could do that. Right. So I thought they picked the right character for that to happen. But the problem that I had was they put in little things like characters not acting like Darkseid is not acting the way that Darkseid acts. Okay. They had to put in something like, what is this thing that I felt. Oh, and they bring it up like why the Earth is reeling right now. It's literally been your whole objective in life to destroy Earth. They have no powers. You could go down there in 2 seconds, wipe it out, and then go back to doing what you're doing. But no, I'm feeling this feeling, and I must go to it. It's
You
like,
must be
dude,
pregnant.
like literally 70 years of storytelling down the fucking drain just because you had a feeling. Like, come on, man. Like, those are the things that I personally didn't like. I hate those little freaking oxymoron things that they do that are like, we're just going to plant this right there. Because they had to bring up absolute power. They had to. Because people would probably see Darkseid and go,
yeah.
Why didn't Darkseid come down and say, "Hey, Amanda Waller, I appreciate all that you've
so
done."
If they write that he was in his head fucked up with Spectre, that could be a thing where you know he wouldn't want to interact.
That's the reason why he didn't do it. Yeah, because he would have just come down there like with all the superheroes depowered and totally. He could have anti-lifed all of them.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what it is. That's what he does.
Darkseid's insane. He's actually a really powerful villain. Like, I know he's changed throughout the years, but that Darkseid, did you guys remember that was really, really strong? Yeah, think about that guy, except 10 times stronger now at this point.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I did like that they explained in this, that since Darkseid is a constant, there's times where Darkseid is more powerful, there's times where Darkseid is weaker. Like, that was a great explanation.
Right.
But for him not to go down there, or with Calabec and everybody there, they could have just said, all right, Darkseid. They wouldn't have been like, Father, we're coming with you. They're always at odds with him. Like, you know, they try to please him 100%. But they would have been like, all right. What's that?
Where's Steppenwolf?
He was there.
Was he there? Okay, good.
Yeah,
I thought I saw him. I was just questioning myself.
In the comics, he looks just like a person.
Okay.
He's just a guy with he was the guy with the mustache that was like, this is a good plan or whatever. And he's got like the horn helmet.
Yeah. I didn't want to say the wrong person's name because you're not confident. Like, you said the wrong name. I knew he was there. I was just questioning myself. I was like, he should be another central figure too if he's this connected to Darkseid, you know?
Yeah, it's more like they took in. That's another thing that they did wrong for that movie. Like, it should have
among many other things.
Yeah, it like him being
among
like
existing, I would say.
Dude, Wonder Woman would kick the shit out of him, right? They just made him like powerful for that movie because they didn't want to give away Darkseid. They had to give you Darkseid, but not give him to you through the whole movie. Like, Steppenwolf is just another, you know, he's powerful, but he's just another minion.
So this is what I wanted to ask you, because this was the common sentiment among the reviews that I was reading for this book a long time ago when it dropped, before they dropped Absolute Batman. Does this book move the needle for you as far as a change from Dawn of DC? Because this is supposed to be basically another big change from Dawn of DC to this initiative, right? But when you're reading this, it doesn't feel like anything really changed, honestly. So it was more of a continuation of what you already got.
Okay, so it does for me because there was no Justice League, and they were so adamant about people who shouldn't have had the ball in their hands having the ball in their hands. This was Superman is taking control, Batman is taking control, you know, and this is what we're doing. We're letting you in on this because we need help because of what happened, but we're in control.
Yeah.
Like, so it did in that sense, but I understand where you're coming from. If you went from just reading that to this, I could totally understand why you don't feel that, and why it just feels like you read Absolute Power where all of them were in there. But if you were reading Dawn of DC through the whole thing, it is a massive change.
The other thing I wanted to bring up with a lot of people is when you're going from Absolute Power to this, I will say this. There is this sense of like they're trying to have unity again, you know? But that's the thing, is they highlight in Absolute Power toward the end of it and in this book how important the Justice League really is. Why ever get rid of it then? These guys are old, in this continuity. They are older. They're like in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They know the power of friendship, the power of unity. Why ever get rid of the Justice League then?
They did it. Well, they got rid of it at the end of
Dark Crisis, right?
Of Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
So like, this is them getting back together. So like, it just, they should have, it was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a good thing to accent newer books and newer heroes, but they did it in the wrong way. They did the Titans. They should have formed a new team with like Dick Grayson and like other people. Like, I'm just saying,
What are we, some kind
imagine
of
this.
Suicide Squad?
Well, hold on. Imagine this. Oh, Jesus. Imagine this, right? If it wasn't like Deathstroke, imagine Darkseid comes down, right? Comes to Earth. He's loaded for bear. He's got everybody. And your defense is the fucking Titans. What's Beast Boy going to do?
Hey,
Turn
man.
into a cat?
No, he's going to turn into a woman and spread his
and-
ass and get fisted by Darkseid.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't take that threat seriously, though.
Right. Mhm.
I mean, you take the threat seriously. You don't take the defense of that threat seriously as the Titans. They didn't take anybody and elevate them except for Dick Grayson. That's the only one that they did. And guess what they did? Where the fuck was Dick Grayson in this?
Because that's the thing, is they built this as a very important book you had to read, very similar to the Captain Marvel movie that dropped in 2019. Kevin Feige was like, this is very integral before you watch Endgame, which reality it wasn't. They just wanted to use it as a marketing gimmick to make that movie make $1 billion. That movie was absolute trash. This kind of built the same way. They said you basically had to read this in order to basically get where the universe is going. Now, there are some better elements to reading this and obviously watching Captain Marvel, because that had no bearing on Endgame. This did have a bearing on the absolute universe, being created. It's just the first half is so much better than the second half. It's not even close, really.
I think the first half is better because it's more of what we're used to as comic fans. I thought the second half story of Darkseid was told great, my opinion.
Yeah.
But the art, man, like when you're looking at something that you don't want to look at.
Oh, yeah.
It makes a dramatic
I'm not even saying I even hate the story of the second part. I just think the art, like you said, is what just threw me off. Like, whoa, I went from like Dan Mora, fucking, who's the artist in this? Danielle Semper. Oh, great. Good job.
Great.
And then it's just like, I don't really like this art style as much. It's just weird.
There's like a couple panels that look good. Like the first panel you see, I was like, okay, that's kind of neat.
Omega half right there. So it went from this
it's
I
just
got the
not
style, but
it just doesn't look good.
Look at that, and then you look at something like something like this.
Yeah,
that's the difference in that. Yeah, it's pretty big right there.
It was very blocky and liney, and like I feel
like they were trying to capture 60s, 70s art style with that artist. I forgot that artist's name. I feel like he was trying to capture that feeling, but there's a reason why technologies move past that point. We can make
I get it that he was transcending through time and space.
Wes Craig, yes.
But Wes Craig is I have very rarely liked anything that he does. I and that's just my opinion. And story should usually, if the story is good enough, it should transcend the art. But we are in a visual medium. Like, come on, guys.
I will say that with the Justice League reforming again, having Superman as the heart of it, with Batman and Wonder Woman next to his side, and Mr. Terrific being there is really cool. But the other thing that'll come into this is, how do you feel about the aspect that anyone could be a Justice League member?
Well, I don't know if it's anyone. I think it's just the people that they picked. I think that what they're trying to capitalize on is the cartoon show. The show was Justice League Unlimited, and it was very, very popular. And they're trying to tell you that the threat coming, with Darkseid having nothing in his way, a whole universe formed from Darkseid himself, because that was the thing. The universe that we're in, he's the force that opposes the good. Now he has a whole universe that is formed by him. There's nothing to oppose him. Even the heroes that, like Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, they are not opposing him. They're opposing his force that has created that universe. So when that conflicts with our universe, it's going to need everybody. It can't just be done by the regular Justice League. That is what they're trying to tell you by everybody could be a member. It's more like the threat that's coming is going to need everybody in the DC universe. Now, where it goes with Monster of the Week stories, I don't really want to see the Question team up with Golden Bullet and them go on a fucking joyride. I don't want to see that. I want to see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, the Flash do stuff. That's what I want to see. So I'm excited for the massive story that they're gonna tell, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I like how in
excited
that
for
one part of the
the
first half,
month-to-month part.
in
That's what
the
I'm not
first
excited.
half, gosh, man, oh Lord, DC, why are you doing this to me? In the first half, like there's a little comic book panel where they try to build up the question. It's like, what is anybody really going to be that interested in reading the questions new ongoing series? I'm not saying it's a bad character, but like, I wouldn't be
No,
buying those books. Like
I'm
there's
not
Black
buying.
Lightning. Did
I
you
could
buy the Black Lightning
no.
new one so far? Okay, good.
Mm.
I I did. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait till trade to get this. You know, I
I
think I
mean,
stopped buying at issue like 3 or some shit like that.
I mean, I will like I'll probably buy the trade. There most of the time I go back and whenever like there's initiative like this,
Mhm.
like Dawn of DC, I bought most of the trades that are out. I'll end up buying it and reading because I'd like to complete things, you know. But as ongoing, no, I'm not gonna read it ongoing until it's done.
So, if you guys were around this time period with DC All In, basically the jumping on books were Batman issue number 153, Birds of Prey issue number 14, Poison Ivy issue number 26, Batman and Robin issue number 14, Action Comics issue 1070, Shazam issue number 16, Green Lantern Civil Corps special number 1, Catwoman issue number 69, Green Lantern issue number 16, Nightwing issue 119, Detective Comics issue number 1090, Power Girl issue number 14, Superman issue number 19, The Flash issue number 14, Green Arrow issue number 350. Holy fucking Christ. Wonder Woman issue number 14, Harley Quinn issue number 14. And the other thing I'll bring up with all of that is it's like, all those are jumping on points, but what's a jumping off point? Which is when the bad writing comes in. I'm kidding.
No, that's definitely a point though, because who the fuck is buying Harley Quinn number 14?
Who buys Poison Ivy? Who buys Poison Ivy books?
Why does she have 12 books? What could you possibly be telling?
I don't know. Like that's why I would say to people, why do you buy? Who buys Harley Quinn books? That has to be you. Got to be trolling somewhere.
They should, dude. I've always thought that they should have like your main like 10 books, right? And then have like 2 ongoing books like DC World or whatever, and then you use the heroes that aren't being used and face the villains that aren't, you know, what's going on in the world of DC besides these main 10 books. Because if you have like good creators and good content, they're gonna sell. Like just because you have 100 books a month doesn't mean that they're going to sell. Like, have you ever seen Poison Ivy in the top 50?
Hell yeah, I have. Never.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and people think like Harley Quinn is super popular because people like Margot Robbie, but like, is any of her books sell?
Never.
That's what I mean. Like, so as much as you know, she was a great character in the Batman animated series, and they decided to turn her into a comic book character, which was really cool. But I don't go out and buy those books. Like, I'm not interested in.
Same thing happens with Miles Morales. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I love Miles Morales." No, you like Miles Morales from the movies and the video and the Insomniac video games. You don't like him from the comic books. You guys weren't buying or reading those. No one could even tell you a storyline they like out of Miles Morales because they don't. It's it's that performative bullshit. I like Miles. No, you don't. You like that version of him. You don't like the comic version of him. You fucking poser. Oh my god.
And you could tell because people get so mad.
They can't even tell you
come out.
Yeah.
No, when they go out and they say Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Hoo-wee.
Yeah, you just gave me a storyline you like from Miles Morales comic books. Oh, you Spider-Man. Oh, fuck off. Just straight
up. That's
why
every Miles Morales book is Miles Morales
always in the top
Spider-Man. Miles Morales Spider-Man.
You were talking about sales, right? You were talking about sales. Miles Morales comic books sell in the tens, probably.
So it's like, you know, I'll say this. The comic book shop that I go to is pretty big, right?
Just like my wife's vagina?
Sure. The only Miles Morales book that I ever saw there was the Miles Morales as books. Like when they were trying to like make him like Deadpool and Thor and Wolverine and stuff. I saw those there and I asked the guy because he had on a Spider-Verse t-shirt.
Okay.
And I said, "Do you like Miles Morales?" And he went, "Well," and I went, "Nope, you don't. You like the movies. Got it." And he went, "No, that's not." I was like, who has come in here and bought Miles Morales as Thor? And he went, "Nobody." And I went, "There you go. That's fine. I have the Spider-Verse movies in
He has
4K.
no
I like
prominent
them.
storylines. No, Miles Morales has no prominent storylines that people know in their heads.
Well,
you know that Ultimate Spider-Man died to get him to be Spider. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
But that comes from Peter. That comes from Peter dying.
And that was the crossing over was the best issues of his. That's the sad part.
Another thing that I could mention when you had all these issues as jumping on points, they did do something very good with this initiative that I will praise them for. All the fans for years kept saying, okay, if you're gonna reboot, cool. But could you just like not maybe like not reboot anymore? You know, they said if you're gonna do a new initiative, don't reboot, because when Marvel and DC do that, or most DC, that means that people feel like what they invested into as far as money, they feel like it's worthless. It doesn't matter. The stories don't count anymore.
The continuity doesn't matter anymore.
So from Dawn of DC to DC All In Initiative, they didn't reboot. I thought that was actually finally. It only took
basically from Rebirth, it's been the same.
Yeah, like only took like fucking what 50 to 80 years to ask, like, hey, don't reboot.
Yeah,
just continue it. It's fine. And what they did was cool was they changed teams. I always said this. Hey, if a series is going not good, change the team. Literally, they changed all the teams for the books, which is good, except for some of them, like Chip Zdarsky was still on Batman. But you get my point.
Like that makes a big dramatic impact, because I'll say the teams, and I've said this for as long as I've been on your show, like the artist and writer have to match, right? Because I've said this, and I'll use an example. If you read Hush, right? And Jim Lee wasn't the artist and it was Wes Craig, do you think that book would matter? I don't.
Now, what if Gail Simone wrote it? Okay, she wasn't writing. She was probably eating the cupcakes.
But what I'm saying is, do you see what I'm saying? Like the art is just as it makes a lot of that atmosphere that the guy is writing. When you pick up, especially on something like Batman or Superman, like when you end up reading Secret Origin, the Jeff Johns Superman, you're gonna like it, because like they made sure to make sure Superman, they wanted to base it off of the Christopher Reeve Superman, the make him look like that, the Superman that everybody knows, and when Jeff Johns wrote it, he was very faithful to the actual continuity and history of Superman. And they went from there. They changed some few things that have been changed, but the story itself was there, and it was the same. And Gary Frank's art is incredible. Like the dude is phenomenal. So I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that was just my thing when it came to the All In Initiative. Not a reboot from Dawn of DC. What you invested into matters. Let's just say that. And then you swap creative teams. Now, to be fair, Chip Zdarsky is getting swapped out later on, but a lot of these books, they had swapping out of creative teams. And I think that's always a good thing. I think after maybe give or take sales of some books, 2 years is a good enough time for a writer and an artist to tell the story they wanted to tell. You know, maybe less, give or take. If the book's selling and it's doing really, really well, keep them on. But if it ever starts like faltering, I never understood that. Why do they feel like they have to be strapped into a terrible story for years on end with a terrible writer? You don't. We know this works. Guys, these companies make the contracts. They are definitely in their favor. There's Marvel and DC should have no problem getting good writers at all. It's just Marvel and DC we're talking here. People are lining up at the door to still work for them. They should have no problems getting good writers for any top characters. Batman, Superman should never have bad writers on anything. It's Batman and fucking Superman here. You know, they should never have anybody less than B tier on a title. But let's go through the DC All In #1 special. So essentially, long story short, because I pretty much remember that this most throughout the entire thing. Booster Gold is the heart of the story. Superman, after absolute power, is trying to rebuild the Justice League, basically offering a Justice League membership to anyone that will accept it. You had, obviously, there's, is that Red Arrow? Yeah, it's Red Arrow, the guy from Doom Patrol. You had Supergirl. You had, what's Damian Wayne? Fire and Ice. Superman, you're too kind. They wouldn't even be on my mind.
The big thing is the story hinges on these cards. these cards that they're made, and they're infused with all the tech, Wayne tech, Oliver Queen tech, terrific tech, and they were put together by Jon Stewart with his Green Lantern power, and then they were blessed by all the freaking, Wonder Woman and all those type of people. So these cards can accentuate your powers, and they could also team you up with people that basically your powers work better or well with. So it's like, that's a cool thing. Like, that's
cool.
neat.
I like it. Let's go do it.
That's neat. So we can get some really cool teams out of it, or they want to make you think like, Green Arrow works really good with Green Lantern. And
they did that. They
Booster
did the
Gold
works
really well with Blue Beetle Ted Cord. So like, those things are there.
Yeah, they had and just to go off that point, they had a Green Lantern, Green Arrow World's Finest special with art by Dan Mora, which may or may not look really, really good. And I bought it that week, hypothetically speaking. But Booster Gold
looked awesome.
Booster Gold as the heart of the story. Booster Gold basically, still at some point feels like he doesn't belong with them. He has the robot character he talks to named Skeets, obviously. Superman approaches Booster Gold to tell him, hey, you can be in the Justice League now. And he gives him his own card and everything. Then obviously there's so many ads in this book, man. So many goddamn ads.
And that's the big thing. So like, the Booster Gold, it was always a character that tried to profit. He came from the future, and he was basically a nobody, and he profited off of knowing the future. And that's him and Skeets. They would do like superheroing, but they would charge people money, and they would do all sorts of stuff like that. But he's at the point now where he's a real hero. He does things for the sake of heroing. And Superman is like, I've been watching you, and you are a real hero, and we want you here. And when he gets the card, that's when he's like, this is it. He was like, this right here is a moment in history, and that's where the card is very special.
So, as you guys know from the ending of the DC's Absolute Power hardcover that we reviewed in the channel, at the end of the book, Batman had the hologram of the newly formed Justice League Watchtower. It's the inauguration day for them, so they go in to all have the big meeting.
So let's talk about this real quick. So when he talks about the card, he tells Superman that he remembers this. He was like, I was a janitor at this museum, and this card, I remember it. It was a blank card, but it was a moment in history. It was very special. So he's telling you that this is supposed to happen. This thing right here is supposed to happen. This is a moment in history. This is very special. And he's like, just like my Legionnaire ring, it's a fixed moment in time. So like, that is very crucial to what is going to happen coming up here. So so they have a meeting. There you go.
Yeah, and this is my favorite page spread in the entire book. It's
fantastic.
Looks amazing. Look at all these fucking heroes. You got Dr. Fate, Damian Wayne, Black Canary, Green Arrow, Shazam, my boy
Donna Troy.
Fuck you. My boy Shazam is never getting any love in these crossovers. It's okay. It's okay, Shazam. Flash is here, Cyborg, Aquaman, Nightwing, Hot Girl.
Swamp Thing is there. That's crazy.
Swamp Thing is there. That's a pretty cool cameo right there. That's cool. Yeah.
That's
all of this looks great.
He usually never leaves the green, so it's like really cool that he's there. And he's very powerful.
I really feel like Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman and Miss Terrific really put on a great presentation of what they want everyone to know. And, at the end of the day, it's kind of cheesy, but I love when heroes do that kind of stuff. I'm always a sucker for that stuff.
100%.
I love when there's a feeling of unity together because, every story now and every movie with superheroes, we got to break the team up. We got to all be sad and depressed every day.
and having like the main trinity acknowledge these other heroes, it doesn't bring them up to their level, but it brings them up to a level where you're like, they matter. This is important. What is happening here is important.
And then after that, as you guys know, with anything superhero related, and I mean literally anything, villains always have to kind of ruin the party. Darkseid goes off the rails. And this DC All-In Special #1 book cannot stop the ads. There's ads for everything, every book that came out during this time period. So then, what's crazy? Right after Darkseid starts attacking them, you have to turn the book upside down to read the previous dialogue. That's my I criticized Deadpool Wolverine, WW3, when me and Professor Savage have reviewed that book. I do not like when books have you turn them over. That's just really, really, really stupid. But with this
I
one,
get it.
I get it
For the I get it for the Zatanna thing. I get it for that, but like, yeah. So like Darkseid like is coming through, but he's not like physically there. And all the heroes, all of them start like Swamp Thing has Omega beams coming out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So does Zatanna, and all of this stuff is happening, and there's rips in time from different places in the DC universe. Looks great. Really cool.
And you know what happened after that, guys? Another ad. No kidding. It was literally a page. Literally, right here. Look at this.
Just one page ad, and then one page ad.
Bruh.
And I think one of the coolest
critically acclaimed writer, Tom King.
Oh, good Lord. And I thought we got one of the coolest panels right after that with Darkseid.
Oh, this.
Show him. Yes, Darkseid has the cloak of the Spectre, and he's got one arm and the other hand is an axe. That is badass. He looks great. Awesome.
Yeah, looked awesome. They all start fighting together, but at this point, okay, so this is where the book is kind of a little confusing. So Spectre is infused with Darkseid. Actually.
No, Darkseid took over the Spectre. He took him out of Jim Corrigan, and the Spectre doesn't have to bond with anybody that he doesn't want to. So the fact that he is bonded with Darkseid, either he wanted to or somehow was forced to, and you should be wondering like what in the fuck is happening right now,
because that is very dangerous. If you guys don't know how powerful Spectre is, you need to brush up on how strong the character is.
He's literally the hand of God. He is in the DC universe. He's the hand of God. He enacts God's vengeance.
They do end up defeating this Darkseid, but then this card that was here, pretty sure you could explain this better than me, because one of the characters go, is Darkseid dead? Did he thank us? There was this card that was left there, and then the antimatter starts forming this ripple right there.
Right. So while they're fighting, Mr. Terrific is using his T-spheres, because Darkseid is like physically there and then he's not. And then he's there and he's not. So Booster Gold looks over at the card, because when he went to the meeting, he was like, they said, we gave these cards out, but we're leaving this one blank. And this one is for the next hero. We always have one blank. And he's like, there it is. And when he looks over at the card, he's like, Skeets, this isn't supposed to happen. This is very bad. And Skeets explains to him, yes, this is not just a rip in time. This is this is bad. Very, very bad. This is not supposed to happen whatsoever. And like, I can't remember what he called it. It's like a whole time breakdown, basically. And they end up defeating Darkseid. And Darkseid says, thank you. But he also says, Darkseid ends. And if you know anything about DC, Darkseid, you can kill him, but he's going to come back.
Yeah,
he has to come back. He immortal. Is a constant. He's immortal, but it's more like he's a constant in the universe. So like when you have multiverses and say they had the 52 Earths, there was only one Darkseid. There was not another version of him somewhere else on those, in the Omniverse, in the Metaverse, in the Everyverse, right? There's only one Darkseid. Now, pieces of him, or as I say, like malevolence, can be in those universes, and that's the force that the superheroes oppose. And that was kind of explained later in this book. But as he dies, there's a rift, and you could see these two universes when Darkseid's kind of like dying and he says Darkseid ends, you could see these two Earths separating. And it's one is red and one is blue. And so whatever that rift did and whatever Darkseid did, whatever they killed him, it created another universe.
And then you have Orion, which is Darkseid's son, right?
Yeah.
He tells Superman and Batman and Mr. Terrific that there is a new universe gate being created. Now, you're probably thinking that's the absolute universe, which you are right. That is being created. But then Booster Gold, he's like, hey, I'll go into that portal and look. They say you got about 10 minutes to be in there. What is Chris? Why'd you do this, DC? You're cruel. You took Skeets from him. How dare you? You took his boy.
Well, he needed to go in there because he's the only time traveler that they have.
Yeah.
And if other people were to go in there, they wouldn't have the tachyon particles. They wouldn't have the bullshit that they need, basically.
So
yeah.
Booster Gold gets in there and he ends up getting stuck as the book kind of fades into the Omega part. So that was the Alpha part. Now we're going to go to the Omega part. And he says, I found Darkseid. And then that's where it ends. And it does that fucking flip bullshit.
Well, first, what happens is he goes in there and he's like, no. And he looks at a building and it's the Daily Planet, but it has the Darkseid Omega symbol on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? And they're like, what happened? He lost contact. Now, Skeets had a temporal thing on him where if he needed to get back, he could have gotten back. But Skeets is no longer with him. They are separated. Mm-hmm. And when the Justice League, they're looking at the screen, they're like, we shouldn't have let him go in alone. And all of a sudden, there's Omega beams following Booster Gold. And as Booster Gold's running away, you see the outline of Darkseid, and he's got an Omega Legionnaire ring, which is important. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And while they're looking at the screen, you see this little temporal shift. And they were like, we got to get Booster. You know, if he's lost, then we'll have to get him out. Then all of a sudden, time shifts and it goes back to before Booster Gold went into the rift for our heroes. And they say, we are gathering, we're going there, right? And he's like, I'd advise against that. He's like, let's talk. There must be a way. Whenever that panel first happened, that's when Booster Gold was like, hey, I'll go in there. You know, I can do this. So they don't even know that Booster Gold is there now. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Because time shifted. And Darkseid says he finally has his army. And you see, he says, we are, you know, Legion. And you see, and he has got a shit ton of villains throughout DC's history. And they are all dressed in, they got the Omega symbol on them. And it's a pretty awesome panel right there.
And
so that's a lot
into my criticism with where the book called goes into the Omega part. So I thought the Alpha part was pretty good, well put together, issues here and there, but overall fine. Then you get to the point where it goes absolute Batman, absolute Superman, absolute Wonder Woman. Now you're probably thinking, oh, they'll just give you some previews of the upcoming issues, right? No, that's just not happening. That was, I feel like, kind of misleading because this was billed as like, hey, we'll give you previews of absolute Batman, absolute Superman, absolute Wonder Woman, but there's no previews in here. It's just a preview of an ad with dialogue right there.
Yeah. Well, the last 3 pages, they have 1 page with each character on it.
Yeah.
And it's not a preview. It's really not
a preview at all.
But basically, this story here is what was Darkseid doing during the absolute power. We're seeing what was Darkseid doing to where it led up to him appearing to the Justice League at the moment they were doing their presentation in the new Watchtower. So that's what we're seeing right here.
Yeah. And this is the Omega part. So essentially he's like struggling with his place in the universe. Yeah. He's battling with the Spectre being a part of him. He's basically in the Omega part, for being completely honest here, he's just inner monologuing to himself as the other villains that follow him surround him. And one of the villains that is a part of his group is like, hey, I brought you something even more powerful than your parademons, actually.
Yeah. So he's like building a machine, right? And we don't know why he's building a machine, but he's struggling with figuring out what he is to the universe. And he wants more than what he always is, because he always looking for the anti-life equation. He's gotten it. He's used it. He's still seeking it. He's doing all this stuff. So he's building this machine and it needs lifeblood. So that's why whenever we saw him, he had 1 arm. So he cuts off one of his arms and bleeds into the machine. And that's when Calabec comes to him, tells him what he just told us. I got new things for you. They're stronger than parademons. They're paradevils. And you're just like, who gives a shit?
The other thing I want to point out before you go is this is where the Omega part loses me. I get the universe is formed that way. So Flash and Absolute Power cut the multiverse. You stopped it. But then now they're utilizing the multiverse again to...
No. It's being created because of what Darkseid is doing. It's not the multiverse as you know it. It's only one other universe.
A new multiverse getting created, essentially.
Yes, multi is in 2. There's only 2. So
Oh God, no! There are 2 multiverse. You know what's crazy?
no,
In
no, 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 no,
Dark
no, no.
Crisis, there was
Just
an
2
omniverse.
universes. Just 2 universes, not
Oh
2
no, I was making a
multiverses.
joke.
Just
Yeah,
2 universes.
yeah.
Yeah, they've
But
already
no,
done the omniverse and
that
it failed.
it's just so weird. Where why take out the multiverse if you know you're going to use it as a plot device for
Because
another
it's not the
story?
same one.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the main reason. So like when they have their multiverse, they have established things. Like Earth
yeah,
3 is where the like Forever Evil that took place, where it's
yeah.
like Ultraman and the Crime Syndicate. They have all of those things already set up and they've been there for a long time. This is completely new, has
Mhm.
nothing to do with their already established multiverse. This is just a brand new universe. And so this is where I kind of thought that they just put in like this little MacGuffin. So if you turn the page from where Calibec is telling him I got those paradevils,
Yeah,
so you see where they're all on the steps and
yeah. I
they're
saw.
walking
Yeah,
up that.
yep.
Yeah. So you see the guy that says now is the time. That's Steppenwolf. That's him.
Oh, okay,
That's
gotcha.
Steppenwolf. So they're saying like this is the right time to go to Earth and destroy it because that's literally been your
Hmm.
whole reason for being. And they're saying like the heroes are depowered and like so that's what's happening in absolute power
Yeah.
is that's what was going on. So
So
that's where it is in
essentially,
time.
the multiverse that we remember that's gone. This is a newly formed universe,
Yes,
and basically a different dimension, right?
I would. Yes,
I would assume so. Yeah, has to
yes,
be.
it's where that rift is in
Yeah,
time.
but you know, at some point they're gonna have that other multiverse that they got rid of come and interact. Oh my god, it's about to be
I don't
another
know if
omniverse coming.
I
You
hope
think?
it doesn't. I hope it does not. Maybe at the end it somehow does. Maybe that's the MacGuffin that they use to destroy the dark side universe. It's easy if you just say this. The multiverse is with like the crime syndicate and all them. We call that the multiverse, right? And we call ours the you know Earth whatever, Earth we'll call Earth 0, Earth Prime. We'll call that Universe Prime, and we'll call this the Dark Side universe. That makes more sense to me since it was created from Darkseid. It's literally if Darkseid wasn't just himself and he all the malevolence, all the hatred went into building a universe. That's what that is. So it's like, yeah. So like Calvex's like, what do you think of that? I got these paradevils and we're gonna go there and kick their ass. What do you say to that? And he's like, I say no. Darkseid's like, no, I don't care about this anymore. And they're just like, what the hell happened to you, man? Like, what is going on with you? He's
Mhm.
like, I'm your. They had to throw this in. He's like, I'm your blood. That's who we are your blood. And he's like, you are my blood, and I need blood for this fucking machine.
As if and Steppenwolf was great. As if Darkseid gives a fuck about his family. As he
Yeah,
even cares. Why do
right.
why do any villains do that? They know that there's a villain that they have to listen to as far as a hierarchy. Yeah, I'm gonna appeal to your emotion. As if Darkseid gives any fucks about family as he tries
Yeah,
to destroy the
it's
universe.
it's. I mean, like I mean, he basically gave up his
Mhm,
first son to the Allfather so they would have peace. That's like what it took. And he was just like,
mhm.
sure, take this kid and I'll take this kid and I'm just
Yep.
gonna lock him up. And that's how Mr. Miracle became like the greatest, break-in artist of all time because he was locked in the freaking dungeons of Apocalypse for years. And he learned how to break locks, and that's how he became Mr. Miracle.
Oh Lord. It, so I'll ask you as we're closing thoughts on the book, because at the end of the book, obviously, Darkseid cuts his hand off, and that hand drops into that
Yeah.
machine that he's working on. This man is insane.
So
Darkseid's insane, people. This guy's mentally deranged.
so basically, like he goes around to all these massively strong villains, right?
Mhm.
And he goes to the dark side of the moon and he talks to Eclipso and blows that up with a mother box. He's trying to find out what that energy that he felt was. There was a energy that happened. It made him build this machine. He did all this stuff and he's trying to figure it out. So he's trying to look for the Spectre because he figures the Spectre would be able to tell him what this is and what his place in the universe is. And that's when he finds Jim Corrigan. He's locked up and he tries to take the Spectre from him, right? And the quintessence, which is like the strongest universal beings in the DC universe, minus the Presence and a few others. It's like, you know, the freaking Guardian from the Green Lantern and stuff, and they try to stop him from bonding with the Spectre.
Yeah, because
And
they tell him it's very dangerous. Yeah.
yes. So he takes the Spectre and he gets it and he's like, it's done. He's like, stop resisting and tell me the truth. What was that surge that I felt? And that's where they kind of explain what's going on. And while they're explaining that, that's why that fight with Darkseid from the Justice League point of view was so weird, that he was coming in and out. So they show that from Darkseid's point of view, where he sees all the heroes coming after him and they're fighting. And that's why it was like, whenever they said, did he thank us? And like, and Mr. Terrific's using his T-spheres to look at him, because he's popping in and out, like to their vision. He's popping in and out. From what he sees, though, is he's talking to the Spectre. And he's like, look around you. And is that they had to name Darkseid, and they named him Uxas, which is like the stupidest. They did this stupid origin story for Darkseid, and it was so dumb. And yeah, so he's like, this is your part. He's like, relish it. You are a key player in the universe. And this is where he explains it. And he says, I am telling you, you need to listen, to feel these words. Everything has a balance to it in our reality. It may be complex in many wondrous and terrifying ways, but there's also a raw simplicity to it. For at its core is life, a force that expands, multiplies against all odds. Life emerges from the dark and races onward. It is hope. And if there is a being who embodies that hope, that energy, it is Superman. So that's like the good energy. That's who their spokesperson is for that. And he's saying, but there is an opposing force to all of that, a constraint, control, and that is you. In a way, you are the true source wall that holds all it back. So if you read Dark Knight's Metal and Dark Knight's Death Metal, you know about the source wall and what is behind the source wall. And we found out it's fucking Perpetua, which was stupid. But that was always a big thing in DC. What is beyond the source wall?
Yeah.
And he said, it's why you have no double in the multiverse. Uxas, you are an essential force. You are primal. And basically just tells him, like, you know, you're only one. You are one of one. And it says, long ago when life consolidated, so were you. But as life expanded, aspects of you, your energy were channeled to every world to hold back life, to challenge it. So that's what I meant by like malevolence and stuff like that. Well, this physical representation of Darkseid might be on Apocalypse. Throughout the whole multiverse, that his chronal energy is there, and that's what keeps
everywhere.
Keeps like life in the DC multiverse in check. That's like the thing that keeps it in check. And he said, when the multiverse expanded into an omniverse, those aspects, God damn it. Sorry.
Freaking life. That's okay.
I know, right? Said those aspects were scattered further, making you, your physical being, less than what is the diminishment you have felt, but it is natural. So that's why they didn't use Darkseid a lot, and they had to use like Perpetua, and they had to use the Batman who laughs and those type of things. Because whenever those universes and multiverses exist, and his energy is spread thin. But now that it's only one, imagine how strong he's going to be. That's why I said they built up very well Darkseid being a badass. Like him in this universe now, if they go there like our heroes go to like where Booster Gold was, they're going to get their ass kicked. He's going to totally destroy all of them because he has almost all of his power. There is only one other universe taking a small part of his power away from him. Now that he's there, he has the most power that he's ever been, ever, because it's not spread out through the multiverse, omniverse, or whatever.
Good Lord, an omniverse. Good Lord. Are they ever going to stop this multiverse stuff?
Dude, it got so bad for a while there, dude. He says, right now, there is only you. All your power gathered into you, untapped. You vibrate with it. You can sense it. if not access it. What we need to do is be patient because the multiverse will come back, the omniverse too. And as it does, your power will funnel into those worlds again. You will not feel this restless, this explosive. So the power that he was feeling was Barry cutting off the multiverse. He got so much more power because it's not being spread out through all of these universes. So he wanted to know what it was. And basically he's like, this is your role, Darkseid, is an honor, divine, essential. And he says, what if I want more? And he's like, you can't get more, because literally for there to be more, it would just be you. And that's what he wants. So they're setting up the most powerful Darkseid that we've ever had to encounter is going to be like the big end boss. Does that make more sense now? Like, so that's pretty much what they're setting up. And it's like, that's why they showed in those panels where he was talking to them, you see all those like planets and stuff like that, and you see like power leaving them.
I'll say though, the art didn't complement how cool the story was in that. And I think that's why the Omega part's a little lackluster, is because the art didn't complement how. Imagine if they got the Night Terror's artist on that part of the book.
Or just imagine if they just had Dan Mora do it, since he did the inserts. Imagine if he did that. Imagine how awesome it would have been. It would have been great.
Yeah.
But instead we get panels like this.
Oof,
what the fuck is that, dude?
So ugly. Oh God. So there were some parts that looked okay. There were some parts that looked very bad, honestly. And keep in mind, this is supposed to be the big fucking special #1 one-shot comic book to launch like this new initiative. Luckily, people liked it, but goddamn, that could have been very bad.
Luckily, they took things that happened in the DC universe for a very long time, and they accentuated it, and they explained, like I said, that was cool how they kind of explained why Darkseid, and in certain comics, like it would last for 3 issues and they would beat him. In other ones, it lasted like how Final Crisis was, where, you know, he had to come back from being a baby. And for some reason, nobody knew that Club Darkseid was Darkseid. That was the dumbest shit ever, dude. It was fucking Club Darkseid. Who'd you think was there? You know, so I thought it was told very well. I thought the story was told very well. I just wish, like we said, the Omega side had the art to back up the story.
I did enjoy the first half. It was very, very good. Overall, this is not bad. This is a very good book in general. It's just, it has the same level of Michael Bay craziness that Absolute Power did. It's a lot more cohesive, and it's a lot more tightly put together than Absolute Power was to a certain extent. Now, to be fair, the pacing on this is really weird. Like the Darkseid one was paced so slow. I was like, we can speed this up here. He's just in his mind here. Who thinks this long about anything? Well, probably Darkseid would. But all right, I'll your closing thoughts and opinions on the DC All-In #1 special.
I thought that the story was done really cool, really well. I liked Darkseid going through and us seeing some of the major villains we have not seen in a while. They brought the quintessence out, which is always hilarious to me, because that was like in, what was it, Frontier or whatever that one was, where they offered it to Wonder Woman and she turned it down. I thought that was cool, and I thought that this setup, in my opinion, the multiverse, the absolute universe, pretty good. I thought it did it pretty well. Right now, what came from that is kind of weird, because the only thing we saw in this book, like they said, was, you know, Darkseid, his version of Earth, which Booster Gold was stuck in. Now, at the last 3 pages, they showed, like, you know, the versions of these heroes will be, instead of being born on Themyscira and being raised the right way, she's born in hell. So it's a different Wonder Woman. Yeah. This Batman will be this, and this Superman will be this. So it was only 1 page per thing.
That's the biggest problem that I have for my closing thoughts was, this is supposed to be essentially a launching #1 special one-shot comic book for the Absolute Universe. And you get no previews of Absolute Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman, even though that was the point of making this.
Right. You know? I think
the universe creation part was fine. Well, that was there.
I think that they should never have said that, because this should have been what it was, just setting
Yeah,
up how the
yeah,
universe was created.
yeah,
And then you go, this is what it is, and then here's what is going to be after it.
yeah.
If they would have just said that, that would have been fine. But they did. They kept saying that this is previewing what's to come.
Yeah.
And when you only have one
They meant
page
by
and like
ads.
a
There
little
we
tiny,
go.
a tiny dialogue, for it, there were more ads in the book than there was
Yeah.
showing us
Fucking
what
hell.
the hell
All
the
the
freaking
Dude,
universe
all
was
the
going to be.
extra ad pages could have been used to give you at least a one-page preview of Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman. What in the world? So like outside of the weird misleading stuff, which made no sense, even though we talked earlier about the whole jumping on points, which can be kind of a weird thing for a lot of people. Overall, it's fine. It's fine. It's
No,
good.
yeah.
It's not a bad book to buy and read. It's just,
No.
if you're looking, get this for the previews of Absolute Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, yeah, that's not there.
No,
There's
it's
not.
definitely good to read to understand the universes, the two Earths. I will say that I thought Ultimate Invasion, while a way slower read, set up the universes way better, because we knew going from Ultimate Invasion to the one shot, like this is what it is, because they explained it thoroughly.
He did a lot.
Thoroughly
He did a lot
explained it. And like I said, when you go read Ultimate Spider-Man, you already have all of that knowledge. So while it might have been a sludge to work through reading that, it makes the Ultimate Spider-Man book that much better. Because everything that happens, you're like, oh yeah, that's why it's happening. That's because he did this.
And you understand where that council came from because you read Ultimate Invasion. Yep.
Because you read, right. And you understand, like, oh, Peter Parker's 30 years old and doesn't have it because they took away his ability to have. That's why the meeting with Iron Man and him opening that box was so important.
Right.
Like those things. Where this, they told you a bunch of stuff. They didn't show you the outcome. They just told you.
It was more
showed you what Darkseid did.
Yeah.
And then you have to take into consideration, okay, that's how we get Ultimate Batman, Wonder Woman, and
I should have known too. If there's going to be no mega anything, it's going to be Darkseid focused to that extent, honestly.
Right.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions about the DC All-In #1 special comic book. It's a fine, good book. It's just now it's hard to judge like which one led into the Ultimate Universe better for DC and Marvel.
I think Ultimate Invasion did.
I think
it's a slug to read through. Like I said, it's there's a lot there, but it makes what you read afterwards pay off so much, because when you have say like a Bible to work with and all that information, right? You can make like all the people that are on those books, like Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men, they can use that as a major reference.
Yeah.
They only have so many pages to reference in the Ultimate books. You know what I mean? Like, it's good that Scott Snyder was writing most of it, because he's writing, but
Absolute Batman.
Jason Aaron didn't have any input in this. And I keep forgetting her name. Kelly Thompson didn't have any input on this. So it's like a little bit hard to, Yeah,
you're right. This was all Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder, who are both talented in their own ways.
They're great.
What I would have did with this, I would have did All-In #1. That's the way they have it, but make it fully the first universe.
3 issues.
Yeah, or at least you do 3 issues. The first 2 issues being the first universe and the Justice League and getting that back set up, and then having issue 3 being everything set up with the Absolute Universe, basically teasing at the end of issue 2. Because they're cramming so much stuff into this guy.
If they would have had the first one be like a little bit more of what we saw with the Justice League, the second book being the Darkseid book, and then the third, it just shows up, you're on a world, you don't know where you're at, and then you see something happen and Batman swings by, and it's a different Batman, and then like they skip over to like Superman, and you're like, holy shit. So you get to see these characters, and then it was like next to be continued in Absolute Batman #1, Absolute Superman #1, that would have been cool. And it's like the comparative to the Ultimate Invasion, because there was so much there, they have so much more to work with.
Well, wow, DC, you are completely blowing my mind. Isn't it a good way? Is it in the way that's what my wife does to make me all over her face? I I don't actually moan like that. That would be very, very gay. But all jokes aside, DC, keep making these Michael Bay books. You're just blowing my mind. I don't know if that's good or bad, but they are entertaining. I will give them that. They are very entertaining. You're reading this going, holy shit, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
So
I still had fun reading it, which is what
I had
comics
fun
are
reading
supposed
these.
to be.
Absolute Ultimate Invasion, I will say it's better payoff, slug to read. This one is a entertaining read. The multiverse, the event style was just not put, it was put together in a way that was very, not say rushed, very like action movie-ish. Like you're just seeing so much stuff happen at once. You're just trying to accept it all in your brain.
And that's not, you know, and that's no slight against anybody who's been reading DC for a little bit, but if you haven't been reading it like I have for so many years, that you know their style and what they're doing, you know what I mean? And how many times did I go that whatever, you know, like, and I can understand that completely. I could, if someone just picked this up and read this, could you imagine if they had no like
that might actually be better. It might actually be way better.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, because they're going to be reading this, seeing Darkseid. Well, why is he important? And then they finally read all that stuff and they're like, oh, and then they go read Absolute Batman one. Well, why is there no Darkseid? I thought he was like the whole reason why this thing is here. Where is he? Why haven't they mentioned him at all?
I need to send this to Tiny, and I want to see her mind completely blown by reading this. She's like, what the hell is DC doing? Yeah, literally, if you pick this up and you know something about DC, like as far as movies and animation and television, all that stuff, you're probably going to go like, what the fuck? So yeah, it'd be very jarring. Keep in mind, I understand why this sold very well. And keep in mind, guys, this didn't sell very well for the story they were telling. This sold very well because this is built as you have to read this to understand the formation of the absolute universe. You know, because keep in mind, after this is only just a one shot, people weren't buying this anymore. There's no need to, you know, but you can use this as a jumping on reference point to Justice League Unlimited and to all the books that they had as a jumping on point. So yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. Good Lord, this is going up in the pile of books I have to review for this year.
So I'm very excited for the Captain America movie for different reasons. I got my buddy John coming with me, and that is always fun because he does not he likes the movies. He actually reads. He always asks me like what comics to read. And I always send him stuff. Like I'll let him borrow a whole bunch of stuff, or I give him stuff. And it's always funny to hear his opinions because they're so unique. And I always so how we do it, we'll sit here before we go see the movie and we'll talk like, what do we think is going to happen, everything. And then as soon as we're done, literally in his car, I set up the camera and the microphone and we talk about the movie for like 20 minutes in the parking lot. So it's always an interesting to hear what he thinks, because he has a very unique perspective on these type of movies. And
he's never read like Sam Wilson Captain America comic books. Keep in mind, as I say,
probably,
that I know no one has.
Probably not. I wouldn't. I know he knows that he was Captain America, and he's read a bunch of Captain America stuff that I've given him, and it's like he read comics when he was a kid and, you know, got out of that. And whenever I met him, when I started at this job that I started, he came like a couple weeks later. So I've known him for about 6 years and we just became friends instantly. We had a lot of the same interests. And it's just funny to hear him. Like when we saw Eternals, this is so funny. We're sitting there, right? And he turns to me and he goes, what time is it? And I told him, and he was like, it's only been 15 fucking minutes. Now, the theater was packed, surprisingly, when we went. And he just like, it was all quiet because you know how that movie is, like something. And he just went, it's only been 15 fucking minutes, people. Like to everybody. And it was so funny. And I was like, yep. It's only been 15 minutes. People were like, shut up, be quiet. He's like, no, it's only been 15 minutes. Could you imagine this movie's 2.5 hours? He's like, fuck this movie. It's so funny.
This reminds me of the time I went to go see Civil War opening weekend, like it was on Thursday when Civil War first came out. And the last trailer they played before the movie started was the Ghostbusters movie with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh my God.
And then a guy just stood up and went, "What the fuck was that shit?" Everyone just laughed because I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Because I mean, I never a fan of Ghostbusters. I don't care that it exists, but good Lord, was that the funniest thing I'd ever heard? Holy shit!
That's a fandom too that is very like. There's a few fandoms that you really can't like. The Tolkien fandom is one you don't fuck with because they will get on you, just like they did with Rings of Power. Like, there's people that are Fairweather friends, you know, like Fairweather fans, and they're like, "Oh, this is great. We love it. It's so Tolkien." And then there's the Tolkien people that are like, "Fuck this. This is shit. This is garbage," you know, and then they'll ratio things to hell. Like when your video has like, 20,000 likes and like 170,000 dislikes, of 500,000 dislikes, they're telling you something, but the Ghostbusters one, that's a weird one, man, because I knew it had fans, like, big, but not as many as I thought. Like when that first trailer dropped and it was so ratioed, so bad, and they were like, "This is not Ghostbusters. Fuck this."
I think for me, that movie's the big one that kind of well, I would say Force Awakens, but I wasn't a Star Wars fan at that moment in time. So for me, it was Ghostbusters where I noticed it came out. I told people, I don't mind if there's female heroes, but if it's not in a authentic way that matters and that would make the story better, what are you doing? Ghostbusters for me, the 2016 one was the one I think started, it was like a big eye-opening one for a lot of people. It's like, what the fuck is this? Because keep in mind, they knew it was an issue that people didn't like it because they swapped it all back with the Ghostbusters movies that came out later in 2021 and 2022 or 2023. I think it was
whatever one it was. Yeah.
It was Afterlife and Frozen Empire. Yeah.
Whatever the Frozen one. Yeah. Whatever that was.
So, it's crazy, man. They'll be like, "Oh, we're going all in on women. Well, women are the future." And it's like, okay, stick by your guns then. They don't, because they know it's stupid as an idea. And then people will be like, "Well, why do you don't like the idea of them trying it?" It's not the idea of trying it. It's kind of a waste of time. Just first make something new then. If you want to do that,
that's my main thing. Just like, just make something new. Like, give them the shine that they deserve.
Because
like,
that's just stupid representation for no reason. It just wastes everyone's time. They're not going to like it. It's literally not going to be. It's going to be disliked more than it is liked. It's not worth the hassle. I don't know why they choose to do it. It makes no sense.
And listen, usually, like I said, like usually, like if it's not something that I'm invested into, it's not going to bother me, right? But my wife said it to me because when we heard there was a new Ghostbusters, we were like, "Oh, cool," because she likes the originals. And when she saw it, she was like, "Why is it?" Like she was fine with like, there being women, but she was like, "Why is it all women? Like, why?" Even her, she was like, "Why is it this?" Like, she's like, "I don't think that's gonna do good." And I was like, "I don't think it's the fact that it's all women. It's the fact that it's Ghostbusters and it's already been established." Like, so, it didn't bother me personally because, like I said, it's not something that I'm invested into. I would much rather it be towards the source material, but it's a movie that was made. So, like, I didn't see the big stink about it. Like, Harold Ramis was already dead, so you weren't going to be able to do a true Ghostbusters movie. So, like, but the movie itself sucked. That was that's
the worst part, is that they make all these changes, which are insanely huge red flags, only for the movie to suck as hard as it fucking is casted. It's like, that's just a double whammy right there. It's already badly casted and it sucks. That's just a complete fail. So,
like, because that's a movie, like I said, I'm not invested into. I would have, would have went and seen just to have a night out with the wife. But like, when we saw it, we were just like, she was like, "Did you like that?" I was like, "No, it's kind of," and that sucks because it's like, I'm not as a huge fan of that. So it was a popcorn movie to me just to have fun. And I didn't have fun seeing it. It just seemed like, okay, whatever. Like The Force Awakens, I actually thought I liked the first one. I liked The Force Awakens. I just thought it was a new hope with a new coat of paint. The Last Jedi, though, whew, that was hard.
The Rise of Skywalker made me want to get a rope and end it all. That was just. See, I might never watch that movie ever again.
I would never like self-harm because of a movie. But what made me realize that it was
a possibility.
What was truly bad is whenever people were like, the prequels are better than this, because they might, have their opinions. I was, like 19 when when the prequels first came out. So I remember going to the theater, waiting in line, and the disappointment on people. Like my theater, when I went, I was the odd man out because I wasn't dressed up as a Jedi. These people were like into it, like, and the disappointment from the theater was like, holy crap, man. When you're like an hour into it and they started talking about midichlorians and people were like, I remember some guys like, I don't know if he was British or whatever. He's like, they ruined the Force. They ruined it. They ruined it. Like I could hear him yelling it. And I was just like, oh boy, this isn't going to end well,
I
but
think
like
what made
people
my
saying that
brain
is just, whew.
I think what made my brain fry after watching The Rise of Skywalker was in the first minute of the movie where I've never seen this. This is only just in Star Wars and the Disney everything happened. The first caption, you remember, it was and somehow Emperor Palpatine returned. What the fuck?
I like that. Star Wars is another one where it's like I like the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things where that's what I grew up on, but
Yeah.
I understood the need for change, right? Because there were a lot of kids that loved the new movies. There's a lot of children that did, not the prequels, the new ones. There's a lot of kids that did. Like there's a lot of kids that do, and like I understood it. It wasn't made for me. Like it was not made for me to like it. Like and my kids loved The Force Awakens. They love Rey, like they do.
And that's crazy. That's insane.
Well, there's a lot of children that do, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kids that
do.
This
thing, I've never doubted that there's fans of those movies, because there's always going to be fans of movies, whether that's how high or low it's, I guess, subjected to who you're around and who you live with. But like even the prequels had fans.
But that's what it was made for, though. That's what I'm saying. Like the prequels, those kids that went and liked it, that's what it was made for. It wasn't made for the people that watched the originals. It was not made for them. Completely not made for them, especially after the prequels, where Lucas didn't have anything to do with it. Like it was 100% made for those people. And what am I supposed to do? Look at my kid and be like, dude, you're a fucking loser. You like these movies? No, he's my kid. Like if he likes it, he likes it. That's his nostalgia. Like that's going to be like in 20 years, that's when he's like 40, and that's going to be his nostalgia, man. Like, so like I understood that. Now, whenever there are movies that are supposed to be for the people that have put their time into it, right? And there's shows like when they made The Acolyte, and she was like, people who love Star Wars are going to love this show. I made this for everybody. And you watch it and you're like, this is dog shit.
Oh, I remember the interview where the interviewer interviewing Leslie Headland and that Shaniqua chick. He was like, well, some nerds are afraid of gay people. It's like, that's just not true. These people just get off on lying, because I literally think they get actually sexually aroused from lying about the most retarded things that have no basis of truth. Guys, nerds would probably be more progressive, if we're being honest, because most nerds are like, I don't care as long as you give me some good. They would be mostly progressive, really look at the way they actually go about doing a lot of things. They don't care if fucking you're gay. That would be the last thing on their mind. What they all have somewhat of a problem with is if they you would sacrifice a character just to prop up some dude's fucking sexuality most of the time. Just the character's the only time more sucking dick. Like that would be not a character I would enjoy.
So even then, I don't think that that's an issue. I think the issue for me personally is when I know the character's sexuality, whether they're straight, bi, or gay, before I know anything about the movie. That to me shows that they're trying to spread a message that isn't what the movie is. This supersedes the movie. That to me, I don't care. Dude, if you have gay people, bi people, I don't care. That's fine. Perfectly fine for me. That does not ruin a movie for me. But when that supersedes the story of the movie, that's when I'm like, okay, it's not for me. I'm out of this. Like it's not made for me. Right? So and there is I know people think that they're fighting a culture war. I know that exists. and there's the warriors of the culture, and we're fighting back by
I'm
making
fighting the comic
podcasts,
book culture war.
and they're fighting back the culture war and stuff like that, and we're gonna all get together and rage against the machine. That is perfectly fine. That's fine. But there is a time and place where you have to realize that those movies aren't made for us anymore, right? Whether it has gays in it or not, they could be all straight people, right? It might just not be made for us anymore.
Well, I think it's for another reason. It's not made for
That's
it because the people behind it don't like the people they're making it for. They're making it for some mythical audience that would never support their shit anyway, you know? So I understand what you're saying.
which was going to be my second point, though.
Really? I'm done.
No, there's people, the people making the movies, right? They feel that the movie itself in the time it was made was not respecting the way the world is, when they are forgetting that the world that they are creating the movie in is not supposed to reflect the real world. It's supposed to reflect the world that was created. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. And that's where I wish, like, listen, I wish that the movies that I enjoyed as a kid and have been going on to now, like Star Wars, like I watched The Last Jedi. I wish they didn't character assassinate Luke Skywalker, right? Because I liked him as a kid, even though he was a little fruit. Red Foreman said it best. Luke Skywalker this, Luke Skywalker that. Don't talk to me about that little fruit, like. And yeah, he was. You watch A New Hope, man. It was like, he's terrible in that movie, right? And then Princess Leia has a freaking English accent for the first half of the movie, and then it goes away, like in the same movie, right?
Good old 70s cheese. Those movies from the 70s and 80s and 90s are something.
But there was something about the movie, about the story itself, good and evil. I want to see the good guy beat the bad guy in the end, right? I want to see that. And they told a 3-act structure of where the good guys went to go fight the bad guys. They got a little victory. The second movie, the bad guys won, Empire Strikes Back. And then the third movie, the good guys prevailed. This now is like, there is no good and bad. Everybody has a reason why they're doing it, and they're justified. And don't you want to know, like, everybody, a good villain is when you can sympathize with the villain. No, a good villain is when you can understand his motivation. I don't sympathize with his guts. I don't sympathize with a fucking murderer, because I'm not a murderer.
Well, you're not I never said that. I don't sympathize with murderers, and I'm not fucking a lunatic,
Right. I can understand their motivation, right? And like saying, like, hey, they killed my family, or those, I can understand that, right? Like, look, like Baron Zemo, like, I understand his motivation. Would I do what he did? No.
Yeah.
But I understand it. I don't sympathize with it. That's a massive problem. They're trying to get you to, there is no good and bad anymore. There's only shades of gray. And that's no. There has to be, you can have a shade of gray character, someone that works in the middle, like in the Game of Thrones, Littlefinger. He's definitely a character that has done good and bad. He mostly towards bad, but he's done both, right? And that's fine. But you have to have good and you have to have bad. Like that's just the way that those style of movies work. And I don't know. I just like seeing that. Like, maybe it's something that's ingrained in us as people. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I know it's gonna go in cycles. I know it is. Well, it's gonna be a bunch of bad movies, and then it's gonna get back to where they're like, hey, because the bottom line is the money. As soon as the money starts not showing up, they're gonna have to do it the other way.
That's what I told people when it comes to superhero movies. A lot of people had like superhero movies as their first genre they ever were part of. So when new things came into it, like fatigue or highs and lows, they didn't know why it existed. And it's like, I've been through many other genres, many other franchises throughout many years of my life. People don't understand this. There's highs and lows with everything. The fact that you guys didn't think there'd be a high and low with the superhero genre is ridiculous. It's happened in every genre ever. It even happens to long-running TV shows that you'll have shows that'll be in like the 15th season. Yeah, you might be in a 10th season that's better than the fucking first season, but the viewers are down because it's been going on for that long. It's like, man, dude, a lot of people just, they're like, well, it's not fatigue. I'm not tired of watching these movies. Go watch them day one like you used to. Oh, I can't now because I have to take care of it. That's right there. Back in the day, you drop everything to watch these. Like literally, you literally stop all what you're doing and go watch them when they're first dropping. Now people aren't doing that because it's not the new hottest thing anymore. People need to understand that when something is not the new hottest thing, you don't look at it the same way. Like it's like when you get married, it's called the honeymoon phase for a reason. You're in love with each other. You're probably banging every day, like me and my wife did. Obviously, you guys believe me with that. But at a certain point, you look at her, keeps her bras in the fucking sink. Maybe her underwear was in the kitchen sink. Her hair's everywhere. And you're like, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I was thinking with my other head. Maybe my real estate agent was my dick.
Well, I can tell you this. I've been married for this long, and we still have sex like 6 times a week.
Yeah. So thank you for rubbing it in. I have to go outside and Superman myself to a wall. Ugh.
Well, my wife is still attractive to me. I don't know.
So maybe I should just get a rope and end it all. Crazy. But yeah, it's one of those things where people don't want to believe there's superhero movie fatigue, but fatigue doesn't have to be something like, oh, the movies are bad, so I stopped watching. Guys, fatigue literally means you are tired, right? So when we've been getting this much superhero content, at some point, whether the movies are good or bad, you will get tired of them because that's just how humans work. You can't escape that. It's just how, even you yourself, you admitted earlier in the show, you mentioned to me on the show we have done together, you got tired of comic books at a single point.
Well, no. I stopped reading them because I had a fire.
That might also happen. But, at some point.
But yes, I got back into them. Yes.
But at some point, have you said, it gets to be too much sometimes. You got to take a break. Sometimes things go on long enough, you need a break from it.
Right. But I also think like when you have so much of something like the superhero thing, it's just like anything in life. They saw something that worked and it was making all this money and then it got oversaturated. If it was less saturated and we got good stuff, just like we're talking about with the books, there's so many books that come out a month in a dying medium, right? As opposed to 10 books from each company.
Yeah.
That are awesome, right?
Yeah.
If they're awesome, you'll watch it. You will read it. You might not go that first day, but you will watch it.
You make it a priority to go see it. You will,
Sports is the same thing. I look at like pay-per-view was a very easy way to gauge what people would want to watch, right? Because if you had like a UFC and it's on there and you got like the top fighters and there's like 3 amazing fights, people are going to order that. They're going to want to watch it, right? But if you have another pay-per-view where it's like one top fight and a bunch of, mid-carder guys, like that's not going to sell as well, right? It's just not going to. But with the superhero thing, to me, they've been putting out such subpar movies and the TV shows, like the streaming shows, that there's fatigue, but they also lost a lot of the audience.
Oh yeah. Like I don't disagree with you when you say that because bad quality movies will have an effect. You have enough bad quality movies in a row because remember back in the day, it was inconceivable the MCU could ever get into the state that DC is at, where people just are so apathetic to them releasing movies now. That's not a concept years ago, right? Now they're at the point that DC was always at, where you release so many bad movies in a row, no one cares. You look at those domestic numbers of those DC movies that have come out since, let's just say 2022 as the latest. Those domestic like numbers,
Blue Beetle and stuff,
bad.
So bad.
Just our country, not internationally.
No, right. No, I understand.
In America is so bad because they release so many bad movies in a row. No one cares. That's why I'm afraid for Superman to come out, because the domestic audience. What was our last live action DC movie that just came out? Joker 2, which was a steaming hot pile of ass, blazing fire.
And I also think though that people are more excited about this to see what Superman is going to do. Because my brother said this to me. And I think I might have said this on this show. He was like, because we were talking about Superman and stuff, and he goes, in the time where the world is divided and we need something like Superman, he was like, Homelander is the Superman that we deserved, and that's what we got. And that you think about that for a second, and you're like, that is 100% true. because the way that the world is going, and stuff like where you hear people say Superman is boring or
I never
Superman this,
understood that. I don't know how people be saying something like Superman's.
because
That's because they've only watched movies and television. It's actually just the movies.
well,
Television
even
Superman is great. Smallville, Superman
there's
Lois is
comic
good.
book fans that think that too, because like they don't
Yeah.
get Superman. They don't understand, like, oh, he's so invulnerable. You're only talking about that side of him, which is the least side of Superman. Like
Yeah.
I've said a bazillion times, and like, you know, Superman is made to punch problems away. He's made to kick the ass of those physical problems.
Mhm.
It's the emotional side of Superman and the humanity side of Superman that he strives to be human and to be accepted. That's the thing. Like you're in a place that you're going to be looked at as either a god or a freak. How do you deal with that on a daily basis? And something that you're trying to protect, where it's people and they have the choice. He doesn't have the choice. He could drop off the face of the earth, right? But using that gift is what he need, you know, what he wants to do, and that's a massive responsibility, you know. And doing good, always doing good in the face of doing wrong is, you know, that's it's hard to live up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing we'll go over. Do you have anything you want to plug beside my wife? My wife that doesn't exist because I'm an incel losing verger. Good Lord, that's not a word either. Oh God.
I mean,
my
go
brain's
check
fried.
out my channel if you want to. You know, you don't have to. Like
You
I make videos.
You do content? That's crazy.
I do. You know, I put it out when I want. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a. You know, you're not like going to get videos from me every week.
Oh, I
Stuff
will.
like that.
I'll get them out of you. I'll start paying you $1 million. Make 3 videos a week.
Money, I don't really care about money.
Oh, damn it. No, you can't corrupt this man.
It's not that. I'm very corruptible. I lived a very corrupted life for a very long time. Believe me, I did.
But yeah, you're gonna be dropping any videos anytime soon, or are you just still taking a break for a little bit?
No, yeah. I'm one should it should be out tomorrow. If not, it'll be out Thursday morning. I'm dropping another Bat Bits X-Men, and then I'm doing Absolute Batman #2.
Hell yeah. So
go check out my Absolute Batman #1. It's pretty sweet.
We will be reviewing my way of how I bang women during bed. Yeah, joking. So we are going to be doing an Absolute Batman #1 comic book review this Friday coming up. And next week I'll figure out what we will be reviewing at that point, because I've read so many comic books, my brain is fried, but I don't care. No breaks. We're going full deep, balls deep, all the way in.
We could do, you know, if you want to take one break, we could do a movie.
Gay.
I mean, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch a gay movie, but I mean, if that's what you're telling me to watch,
there's bros, man.
There is that. It did exist.
Maybe after this week we'll do a movie. There's a sequel coming up for a horror movie that I want to talk about, but I'll let you know which one it is. So,
well, remember we did talk about watching the MCU from the beginning.
We did. Do you want me to actually kill myself? Hell yeah.
Well, I'm saying like maybe once a month out of our reviews, we do just start it, you know, and we could maybe watch it chronological order instead of, you know, how it came out, like
released order.
What is with you and dicks and what is it?
The guy, you know, I told you.
No. Wait,
someone frauded my account. So
what's with you and dicks?
They bought freaking dildos. The scam artist.
No, they did not. You bought the dildos.
What? No, I had eBay card transactions for fleshlights, 8-inch dildos, and fucking PS5 games. It was a guy from Michigan. Who the fuck lives in Michigan? No one brags about living in Michigan, dude.
So is that where you're really at, Michigan?
I wish.
Near the dildo factory.
God, man.
Flashlights and PS5 games. He's like, that magical door back there leads to a place that makes flashlights, dildos, and PS5
Why would I fraud my own bank account? What?
Because you didn't want them to know that you were buying dildos, flashlights, and PS5.
I wanted to tell. Oh my God, you guys are killing me. It's okay. All right, so we'll be back here Friday. Later on tonight, I'll be doing a show with Professor Savage Dad. We were gonna review Battle Brick Road #2, but my brain is fried. We're going to talk about Rob Liefeld or some bullshit like that. So yeah.
Oh, you're going to talk about feet?
No, we're talking about him actually leaving finally cutting ties with Marvel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
because he's put out so many books.
yeah, he's not, and keep in mind, he's not late on a crowdfunder that's going on 10 years. Where he ripped up a bunch of people, allegedly, in
Dude,
Minecraft.
Image. Yeah, but dude, he was ripping people off in Image, bro. Like,
Nerd.
dude, those books. I remember buying the first ones,
Was it
right?
the books where the art's so good, but the writing was so shit? Those books, right?
Okay, so yes, there was a lot that, like Savage Dragon, I thought that would be a book for you, man. There's some scenes in
I'm a
Savage
Savage Dragon in
Dragon.
bed.
So like, well, they have stuff in that where like he explodes on women and like,
I do that
all
too.
sorts of
I
everything.
can see myself in him. It's representation, man.
Like, and that they're representing you for sure, 100%, 100%, 100%. They are a top G Riz master,
Hell
but
yeah.
in this one they are a top G Jizz master. So,
with that being said, well, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show.
You act like that's the worst thing that was said today. Come on.
Have a great night, everybody.